We're back, and
somebody asked if plaque causes bad breath in your chat, and I spelled it P-L-A-C-K.
Is there like actually a user? That'd be funny if there was a user.
I think it's A-U-U-E. Plaque doesn't cause bad breath though. That's just the bad stuff that is like on the that'll grow around
like bacteria that builds up in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the heart. Or wait, am I thinking of? Oh no, wait, never mind. I'm wrong. I don't know.
It's bacteria that causes smells, right? So.
Yeah. What's the stuff? What's like the stuff that like if
gingivitis?
You don't brush it up. No. What's the stuff they have to scrape off with like a
tartar?
Thing?
Tartar.
Oh yeah, tartar.
Tartar is that yellow shit. Yeah.
Plaque is just the stuff that you brush off your teeth, the icky stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's do a patron giveaway.
If you wanna have there's like a super pro life tip. If you wanna have really good smelling breath, a lot of the bad breath that you get is actually from the back of your tongue. So if you cut off your tongue at the root in the back, you can get rid of almost all of it and just toss it. It'll actually be like really good.
Wow, such great advice, man. Good stuff.
And some people actually
it would also improve the quality of the show.
If you lay down and your tongue slips back into your throat, you can die that way. So it also saves you from that potential point of fatality.
Yeah, for people that suffer from seizures, that's true. That's definitely true. All right, let's do some patron giveaways here. We're gonna be doing 3 of them, and we're doing 3 of them for these gift cards here for Battle.net, Hearthstone, and Steam. And we're going to do a Steam one first for $20. And I'm going to have one of you guys pick... Richard, you pick a number between 1 and... 1 and 63.
I'll pick your age, Chris.
Oh, wow. This would be interesting.
50.
50! Wow.
Yeah.
50. Okay. All right. So the winner of this $20 Steam gift card is Lucas Capdeville. Thanks, Lucas. I appreciate the support for Unfiltered, and I'll be sending you this gift card soon. Yep. And we're gonna be doing 2 more of these, but again, this is for a Steam $20 gift card. Figured since we're giving away Steam $20 gift card, might as well talk about the Steam controversy that happened this past Christmas.
Yeah.
For those of you that weren't checking social media or anything, or Reddit or anything like that, Steam had an issue where they had a caching problem with some of their servers, and people, when they would get into their accounts, they would see other people's profile information, and at times even some of their checkout information, according to TB in a tweet recently. And that obviously caused a crazy just a lot of craziness, and people going into Steam and like worrying about if their accounts and their credit card information, just everything was compromised. Turns out it only happened to just not a large amount of people, just I don't know exactly the number, but it didn't seem to be a pervasive thing, and they were able to correct it pretty quickly. They probably just corrected it, honestly, by just clearing the caches on all these servers. But it did create pretty big kind of just worried a lot of people. So what did you guys think of just the entire
it was
thing?
a lot of panic. I mean,
yeah, death panic, exactly.
In terms of what access you actually got to people's accounts, it was fucking negligible. I mean, obviously any access isn't acceptable, but this wasn't like, oh, I can fucking take money out of people's accounts, I can get personal information. There was like, you could get like, I think it was the last 2 digits of a credit card in some super rare cases.
Yeah, maybe a mailing address.
Yeah, like, and the only thing that could really come out of that was like a phishing scam. Like if some fucking Russian dude sent you an email like, "Hi, friend, good to meet you. I am from your bank."
That's like a Whiteraw impression right there.
These are Steam users who get scammed through their fucking Steam chat all the time, so I don't know if I would joke about that.
Yeah, but again, they're fucking idiots, right? And only the strong survive. Fuck it. Like, if you're getting scammed by that dude who's like, "Hey, it's me, your brother," fuck you. You deserve to be penniless. Like you deserve to be just left on the fucking wayside to die while the rest of human society moves forward, So I thought it was like a bit overplayed. Like Kotaku was fucking, being Kotaku, and they did a report like, error gives people access to Steam accounts. you had no fucking access. You could view like one page at random of a random user with no context because of a caching issue. So yeah, it's unacceptable. Yeah, Steam have Valve, sorry, have come out and apologized for it. But I did think it was a little bit overplayed in terms of just how fucking dangerous and fucked up it was. It felt like a little bit of hysteria, you know.
Steven, what'd you think?
What? Think about what?
What'd you think of the whole Steam thing? Blown out of proportion,
What
or
did you think about? I don't know. Yeah, it sucked. It was annoying for like 2 minutes. Everybody knew about it, and then it was.
And they
it's really
disabled
not a
the
big
store
deal.
straight away. You know, that's worth pointing out. So even if there was any like anything you could do with it, you know, they reacted pretty quick on that front while they tried to fix the problem.
Well,
so
I don't
know.
I'd say they were a little slow at reacting. I mean, just commenting on it, just publicly in a.
That's Valve in a nutshell, though.
Yeah,
they weren't slow in reacting to it. They weren't slow in fixing it.
Yeah.
But in terms of communicating what happened and apologizing or whatever, yeah, they're slow. They're Valve. Of course they're going to be. Of course they're going to be. You know, that's their modus operandi. That's how that's Valve in a fucking nutshell. It's been Valve ever since Valve has existed.
Yeah.
The idea that they're ever going to get their shit together in terms of communicating with the people they need to communicate with is laughable because it's the constant thorn in their side. It's the one thing you consistently criticize Valve for. Everything else they do is pretty sweet. Yeah. You know, they're a very successful company for a reason. But when it comes to communicating with the public or their player base, you know, yeah, they're garbage at that. So.
All right, let's talk. Well, it's WCS. So this is something actually you leaked out, Richard.
Yeah,
before the news.
It,
exactly.
I was wrong again, right? I was wrong again. Right? It was Richard Lewis being hysterical and lying again. You know, you got like the Reddit mod and in the StarCraft subreddit, I Bleed Orange. He was just basically some fucking absolute loser who reposts like gifs and pictures to get karma. It's super important to him. This guy was like, this is why you don't trust Richard Lewis. Why? I was right, you dumb motherfucker. You're that thick, you can't even figure that out. Turns out, yeah, he's a perfect Reddit mod in that sense. A brain dead cunt with no imagination of his own. So
yeah, well, anyways, you broke the story, which was actually surprising to me, given that I didn't think you followed SE2 that much or spent too much time with that.
It's big news, though.
Yeah, it's definitely big news. Definitely big news. Me and Steven obviously were at the summit that happened right before BlizzCon, and we. Can you hear me, Steven?
Yeah, I can hear everything.
Okay. I wasn't sure if with the headset or not, but so we had an idea, or at least possibilities of which the WCS 2016 could have resulted in, and we talked about definitely things that weren't in what was announced. So it could have gone even further, I guess, compared to some of the feedback that we gave. But what are your thoughts, actually, Stephen? Given that what we did at the summit and what the results of it were.
I don't know. We could talk for a long time. I mean, like, I'm kind of indifferent.
You're indifferent to the whole thing? Seriously?
Like, here's the thing.
Come on, man.
Here's the thing, okay? I don't give a fuck about Koreans taking over our WCS and doing all that shit.
That's fine.
All I want as a player is them to be forced to play on the ladder. If WCSNA is represented by 16 fucking the yellowest samurai motherfuckers on earth, I don't give a fuck. But if that means that I can queue up 8 hours of games a day and get high quality games against those people, I would be totally okay with it. The only problem I have is when people come over here, people, I guess, like Polt or Jadong, if you come over to the United States to be whatever you need to do to compete in WCS, and then you spend 99.9% of your time training on the Korean ladder, that's the annoying shit. And like, okay, well, now you're representing WCSNA. Okay, well, it did fuck off for the region, right? If you talk about like building the scene or whatever, it does fuck off for anything. What you need to make the ladder a competitive place. It does good shit. I would have liked to have seen ladder incentives. Maybe there's still time to do that. So whether that's paying money to the top 16 people that finished on the ladder, something like that, like that's what I just want to see more competition on the ladder. Like, when you talk about building a scene, that's the most important part. Fuck the fucking tournaments. The one game a month, the one tournament a month or 2 tournaments a month. It means fuck all. Like there has to be a way to practice. Like that's the important part. And in Korea, even people in League of Legends have talked about this shit. That in Korea the ladder is so much fucking better than in NA and even EU. And that people take it so much more serious over there. Like if you could make the ladder better, then that would like everything would fall into place from there. Just making, I mean, like right now, you kind of just, I guess, fucks over Koreans. Well, that's really what the WCS plan is, right? WCS, like Operation Fuck Korea, is more or less what it is, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, Korea's taken a hit. Korea's definitely taken a hit. Yeah, absolutely. At the expense of growing it.
It feels like that was the whole point of the exercise. Like when I saw the original leaked email, which I got it translated, and then I got the translation double checked, like because that obviously a translated thing, you miss little subtle, especially when you're translating fucking Korean to English and stuff, and it was mind blowing that it did seem to basically be just a way of almost artificially, promoting Western players, which is of course what a lot of people have been calling out for a long time.
Yep.
But it's never particularly appealed to me, honestly.
Why hasn't it appealed to you, Richard? Because I've actually always been one of the advocates of trying to grow Western.
I don't know, because I guess I'm old-fashioned again. I do believe in meritocracies. I understand all the arguments, by the way, on this. So I understand why it's good for the game. I understand why it's nice to have this sort of regional diversity. And if you want to get that Western audience, obviously you need Western players that they can root for. But equally, I think when you do something to sort of artificially compensate for a scene being weaker than another, I think that we really need to start asking questions, about why we feel the need to do that, why we're doing that. And it's not just in StarCraft. I mean, League of Legends, you can argue, for example, there have been numerous changes around basically sort of kind of
did we get to have that discussion with the EU and the NA best of 2, best of 3?
We've already had this discussion.
Okay.
We've already had this discussion. Okay, we already had this.
But
Europeans are better with ties.
Mate, we're all right with it. Losing's okay. You don't need to win, man. Everyone's a winner.
I noticed that WCSEU scheduled their games we played on like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Isn't that kind of cucked? Like, why'd you make them do that? Oh, they make all their decisions independently. Oh, so they just choose that on their own. Okay. Sorry.
I love how the person who officially communicated that was, of course, Nick Allen, who works for Twitch. How very nice of him to do that on behalf of Riot. Anyway, the point that I'm making is, I think if we believe in competitive integrity and we believe that competition's first and we love the game and the game's the thing we're passionate about, we want to see it played to the highest level possible with the best games possible. I think anything that dilutes talent, anything that dilutes competition, anything that artificially props up weaker players is objectively a bad thing.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people are, especially a lot of the hardcore old-time StarCraft 2 or StarCraft even fans. They're like you, Richard. They want to see the top players, whether they're Korean or they're Westerners, and it doesn't even matter, right? Like, they want to see the top 16 people at BlizzCon, and they're happy with that, right? And that's pretty much how it's been. Just forever now, right? I mean, since BlizzCon's existed or WCS has existed, it's outside the first year with the whole countries and stuff. This whole new WCS for the last 2 years has been pretty much that. And the thing is the new system isn't necessarily. I think we go into like looking at the new system with that bias in mind. Like that. Okay, we're not going to be having the top 16 players in versus them creating an actual structure that has to do with 3 regions. It just happens right now that StarCraft 2 is just so heavily weighted in one region. But if you were, if there was like no region that had that right now had a heavy amount of the good players right now, then this structure actually would be okay. Like it would seem kind of even, right? Like it's like, okay, so we have like this whole circuit thing, and then we have this whole. I mean, the reason why it's even just designed the way it is because we have this weird thing where Korea is stronger, right, than the rest of the world, and that's always been. That's always been the biggest issue.
The rules that have been brought in here directly speak to that what has gone before. They're addressing it. They're taking a very strict, hard line against the idea of you know, you can't represent this region, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, the whole regional aspect for me is almost something that I get why it's there, but it's never been anything I've ever consciously thought about in any sport, really. You know, I mean, with the exception of supporting a local football team, the everything else that I do, like, you know, when I watch an international tournament, for example, you know, you want to see the great games. You watch all the games. You don't only watch your country play, and you appreciate the games. You know, it's like, oh, well, Wales aren't in the World Cup final, so I'm not going to watch it, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, Wales barely qualify for international tournaments as a rule. We're fucking terrible. So
yeah, but you watch the UK, you watch the English team, though, right? I mean, you root for the English team, no?
God, no, that's an anathema, you know. Like, I definitely don't support England, no way. But the point is that you just want to watch good games. Like, you just want to watch good games. So I do find it a bit odd and a bit perplexing that we've attached this, like, kind of a meta narrative about, like, what can we do about the pesky Koreans. I've never heard one solid argument, by the way, as to why Westerners can't just be good as Koreans.
I mean, it's because of the
ladder. It's just exactly what Steven is saying, right? It's a ladder.
No, is that so? Really, what if we fix that? If we fix that problem,
so, like,
it would help. It would help.
Okay, so let me give you an example.
I'm not saying it wouldn't help, but
I give you a real example because I'm actually playing StarCraft right now. Probably about as good as I ever have in my life. Okay, so right now on the StarCraft 2 North American ladder, I think I'm ranked 28 or 29, okay? Out of everybody in North America, okay? This is what my...
Is that the highest you've ever been? Okay. That is the highest you've ever been, right?
Legitimately. Okay, look, Richard Lewis, okay? This is what my match history looks like for today. Here. This is what my match history looks like, okay? For today. This is a waste of time for me right now. I didn't learn anything today. Very few of these games were that challenging. I lost a couple games because I was dumb, and I didn't run into a single notable opponent. Like, look at this. Like, how much time can you waste and win? And I'm not even, like, an amazing player, right? There are other foreigners that would beat me very consistently a large number of times. Puck would annihilate me. Scarlet would annihilate me. Neeb would annihilate me, right? So, like, and I have days and days of this kind of stuff, right? Where I can play 30, 40 games, well, probably like 20, 30, maybe 40 games, and it's just not productive. There's just nothing because the ladder is garbage. If I were to take my same games and go over to Korea, it would be way different. Every single game would be a challenging game. I wouldn't be able to just kind of jerk off with my stream and talk to them and mess around or whatever. Like, I would have to try a lot harder. And there's nothing more that I can do on the ladder that I'm on now to queue up against better opponents. Like, I can't. I'm just fucked. Like,
so where are you at in terms of the overall ranking?
29.
I'm ranked 29.
So 29 overall?
No,
of all North America. Of all of North America, yes. The only ladder in North America. And this is the Grandmaster, so the one that's 1 through 200. There's 200 GM accounts in all of North America, and I'm ranked 29. Yeah. So the games that I'm queuing, I'm literally in the hardest queue in the server. This is the hardest queue in the server. There's no other anything I can do.
So how would you combat the fundamental issues of geography and internet connections and everything to get better players in the ladder? Because I heard you talking about, you know, pay people to be in the ladder. Okay, but that wouldn't fix that problem, would it?
Yeah. So
you'd still be playing against the same shit players.
So the problem is everybody that's even remotely decent either flees to Korea, flees to Europe to go train in those training houses, or if they live on the West Coast, they play in the Korean servers, or if they live on the East Coast, then they play in the European servers. So, like, even of the decent NA players that exist, none of them ladder on North America. All of them ladder on Europe or Korea, and they just bite the latency. They just eat it. Like, fuck it, I'd rather play in 120 ping than playing good ping on NA and play shitty fucking games. So because there's no incentive to ladder in NA, you're way better moving to a coast and laddering in Korea or laddering in Europe.
Yep, that's.
But again, I mean, I still there's almost like a part of the argument that kind of seems a bit overlooked, and that is that we're saying Koreans are better at the game because they ladder in a region where everyone's better at the game.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's because practice.
No. That exact circular thing is the problem. Like,
right, okay.
How do you get better at StarCraft 2? Ladder in a good ladder. Okay, well, how do you ladder in a good ladder? Well, you need to be in a region with people that ladder in a good ladder. So So like you're fucked. You understand? It's like that's that. What you just said, how it sounds circular, it exactly is. That's the problem. Like, how do you make the North American ladder as very good? You have to have good players. Well, where do good players come from? Well, good players come from good ladders.
Yeah, and this is the
so you're like fucked
because the base of all StarCraft 2 practice, no matter team house or not, I mean, it's always from the ladder, right? That's where everybody spends all their time getting their practice is from the ladder. Okay. If it wasn't, then yeah, maybe some very, very obscure, way that you could figure out some kind of training regimen that you could get better. But you still have to play players, right? You still have to play some kind of players in the end.
Because again, you'll have to excuse my ignorance on this, obviously.
Yeah.
So how serious an issue is latency stroke ping? In StarCraft, because obviously like FPS, it's a fucking huge deal.
Yeah, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's as crucial as it is in FPS, but there are a lot of things in StarCraft that make it very, very crucial. For instance, let's say that I want to use my Mutalisks, right? A Mutalisk is a very expensive unit in StarCraft. Let's say I want to use Mutalisks to pick off a medevac from an approaching Terran army, right? These itty bitty trades to get an edge before a big fight comes up are very important, right? Well, on NA, if I have good ping, I can right click my Mutas in, and I can try to pick. That medevac off and then fly back. I guess like the Counter-Strike equivalent would be like shoulder peeking, right? If you shoulder peek, I could be wrong, but I think like if you shoulder peek in good ping, as long as you peek and get back, like you're fine or whatever. But if you try to do it in like shitty ping, like something can go wrong and you could be behind the wall and then you could still get opt and killed even though it looked like you were safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It's the same as StarCraft. We're like,
I get it.
I go
so
for
it's like ward hopping.
It's
like ward hopping when Lee's in League, right? Like,
yeah, sure, maybe, because the ward isn't place. Yeah. It's just like one of those things where like some things become like much more difficult. Or like for Protoss, like say you need to place force fields. Like force fields have to go down in time to stop the approaching army. Well, if 15 units get through before the force field goes down, because there's that extra like tenth of a second of lag. Well, now you've got Lings fucking all your shit up and everything is fucked. Like it's pretty important. The ping is pretty important, I would say.
So where's the cutoff point? Because like obviously an acceptable level of ping in an FPS is like once you get beyond like 60,
15,
70,
if you're talking like land shit,
you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah,
but
I would
like
say
in
that
StarCraft, where is it?
It's similar. Like in that 50 to 60 range is probably like the money. I mean, it depends. Like some people will complain about anything under like or anything over like 50, but like anywhere from like the 50 to 60, 70, 80 is like okay. Like I think around 60 is what most people would hope for. Is like really good. But when you're connecting like cross seas,
150. Is that ridiculous? Is that
150 is not fun to play in. No,
you can still play it though. I mean,
you can play, but it's but it influences your play, and you have to wonder about everything. Like if you play a ZVZ and you lose like 10 lings because you couldn't pull
ZVZ
away
would
from
be
a link in time, and it was no. It's not just ZVZ. It's not just ZVZ. It's in every single matchup. What? Yeah, Reaper Micro would be impossible to do. Yeah, like Reaper Micro is something that would be very difficult to do because you have to attack and pull back at like the exact time, and if that's like a sluggishly delayed thing, like imagine like running out into the street and trying to like hop through cars with like in like a puddle of mud where you have to like pull your foot up every time. Like I don't know how to like explain it.
It's kiting.
It's a debilitating feeling to have to fight against ping, and if you lose a game and you don't know if you lost it because you couldn't pull a unit back in time because of fucking ping, like it's the most tilting thing ever, and it's really hard. Whoever said you can play in like 150, 120 ping, I don't agree.
Sorry,
120 ping is easily tolerable. Well, how good are you? Like what? I don't know if I agree with that.
StarCraft's one of those games too, is that you could be playing like flawless the entire game, and then just one engagement where something fucks up, with ping issues or delay or something, and then the game's over, right? It's unforgiving in that fashion too. So it definitely can be. I mean, it is very, very crucial to be able to do that. So yeah, there is a give and take whenever it comes to like NA folks, right, playing on the Korean server. But that's how important it is, right? That's how important it is just to play better players and just to see different strategies. And that's another thing too, right? Just even that you're not even talking about is just strategies, just strats on different maps and stuff like that. You see the same thing you know, just
well, like
over and
strats
over.
are kind of important too, but like this is the thing. Like StarCraft 2 is a game that's like strategy is kind of important, but StarCraft is like fucking like when you talk about playing against Koreans, you're like this is like 90% mechanical. You can work out like the best. Like I was a little bit annoyed that Scarlett tweeted that they look kind of autistic that she tweeted that things like why can't foreigners just develop their own metas or whatever. Like you can do whatever fucking strat you want, but if you're mechanically in preschool and you're playing against somebody that's in college, like you're fucked. Like no amount of strategy is going to let like a grade school basketball team beat an NBA team just because their mechanics are going to be so much better. And StarCraft is a game that's like 95% mechanics. Like if the person that you're playing is mechanically outclassing you on another level, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. You're always going to lose those games. They could be using inferior strategies with inferior builds with bad units, and they could go mass fucking Marine, and they could split against your banelings well enough that it doesn't matter and you lose. Like you have to be up there. And the only way that you can get your mechanics to that level is to play against other people who have mechanics at that level. So it's like a big catch-22. Like you're never going to get like nobody's ever going to develop Korean tier mechanics grinding games on fucking NA because it's a fucking shit server and you don't need those mechanics to win games because you're playing 2-hour games against people like Avillo and Ruff who are at the top of the fucking ladder. Like,
yeah.
Even in Europe, it would be way better. At Hometory Cup, there were like 30 fucking people there that were all like really fucking good players that are playing fucking Daishi had fucking 800 fucking games, or it was like 600 plus games played on the European ladder. If you could queue up like over and over again and get that quality of opponents, people like Daishi, TLO, Snoot, Marine Lord, fucking all these players, like that would be sick as fuck too. Like the European ladder has even gotten quite a bit ahead. The NA ladder is just so fucking depressing. Sorry.
So I mean, let's talk about just again get back to the structure of WCS. So they're going to be bringing 8 people from the circuit, right, which is basically everything but Korea, and then 8 people from Korea to BlizzCon for the championship. And a lot of people think of WCS Korea as basically the like kind of like the finals, and then going to BlizzCon is just kind of like a different event in itself, or at least that's what people I think. Generally are thinking about. They're thinking of that, but I feel like it does bring into the possibilities of surprises happening, and I think surprises at BlizzCon is crazy. Like is a big deal.
Here's a big philosophy thing. Here's a big philosophy thing that people don't understand. Okay, BlizzCon is not supposed to be the 16. The purpose of BlizzCon is to deliver you the best player in the world, not the 16 best players this world. So you get 16 different people that are all representatives of their different region. There's going to be varying levels of skill because that's how any regional thing works. No, BlizzCon is not supposed to be the 16 best
No,
players.
I get that, right? But here's the point. How do you ascertain the best player in the world if you have weaker regions feeding into the final 16?
Because the best players
the best players are
the best player will still rise, but the overall standard of the player is greatly reduced because we've
But it doesn't matter. The best player BlizzCon will always deliver you the best player in the world.
No, those players played in Korea, Richard. Like, so ignoring the fact that those players, those other 8 players aren't going to get whatever prize that they could be getting going to BlizzCon. Just ignore the money aspect of it for now. But those 16 players, no, just ignore that for now, though, Richard. Those 16 players are playing in WCS. Like, they're battling it out already. And then so the 8 top Korean players, which generally people think are the top 8 players in StarCraft 2, will be represented in BlizzCon. So, in theory, one of those guys should win, right? If the Koreans are the best.
The point is, okay, let's just say let's apply the law of any given Sunday. A Korean player that doesn't get to go because we're sending an American has more of a chance of beating and getting that upset and being that surprise package if he's in the tournament than the Americans we send who crap out. So we aren't necessarily delivering the best player, and we're overall reducing the level of competition. That isn't an argument, right?
I mean, you're not reducing the level of competition.
I don't think
you definitely are.
You're shifting the competition to Korea. The competition.
Yeah, the competition. There. Yeah, I mean like I said, the same 16 players.
If we did a World Cup, right, where we artificially weighted African nations, or even better, let's not even single any continent out. Let's just say if we did a World Cup, this is for soccer, obviously. If we did a World Cup and we said countries who've never been to a World Cup before get preferential pick,
I agree with
and they go, and then we send Italy, Brazil, and a couple of France and some Spain.
That's not the same thing, though.
Okay, no. Okay,
that's not the same thing, Richard. That's not a bad example. That's not the good
Well, it is the same
example.
thing.
No, it's not. A better
Okay, so
example
this
would
is
be.
the question.
No.
Oh my god, this is a huge waste of time. This is the question that you have to ask. No, because we're arguing
the
two
same
completely
example.
different things. This is the question that you have to ask. Is BlizzCon, is this supposed to be the 16 best players in the world, or is it supposed to be the 16 regional representatives from the regions that they came from? That's what I was under the impression of. BlizzCon was not supposed to be the 16 best players in the world. BlizzCon was supposed to deliver you the best player in the world. And it does that by bringing together the best players from each region around the world. Period. It's not the 16 best players in the world. It's not like we have one giant global tournament that then gives you the 16 best players in the world that gives you a one best player for BlizzCon.
Right.
BlizzCon was supposed to be, hey, here's our people from NA, here's the people from EU, here's our people from CARA. These are all the people that were the best in their region. So what BlizzCon gives you is the 16 players who are the best in their respective regions of the world, and then those 16 players will battle it out to give you the world best player. That's what BlizzCon is supposed to be. Now, if you think that BlizzCon should be the 16 best players in the world, period, then maybe it should just all feed in from Korea. That's fine. But that's a different philosophical
No,
question.
I'm saying all the regions should have a chance, but I'm saying they shouldn't get any rules that are basically designed to enable them to have a disproportionate amount of representation that they would have ordinarily got.
There's only
That's
two.
what I'm
There's
saying.
only two
Okay,
regions,
but do
guys.
you think that
I mean,
there's disproportionate representation
It's like a
at the
circuit in a
Like, couldn't you
Korea.
argue that there are a lot of countries that shouldn't even fucking bother competing for medals in the Olympics because they're never going to fucking place, and they've never placed, and they never will place? But they don't. Everybody goes to the Olympics because every
Well, this is
country
why you
goes.
have round after round after round after round of qualifiers. If you even get to compete,
Yeah, but aren't there
it-
countries that
even
will
if
go and
they-
compete
So-
in? Aren't there countries that go and
even if
compete
you
in
get
like
to compete in the
Olympic
heat,
events that
you've
they've
achieved
never?
something massively.
Yeah, but aren't there
You know?
aren't there countries that go in the Olympics and compete in things that they've never fucking won before? Like you
Yeah,
just.
there has.
Like,
Especially the
yeah,
home
but,
country.
like, that-
The home country gets
that's
I think a home country gets a participant in every single event.
So,
But
this is
but
the
again, you have to
philosophical.
qualify to get to the Olympics, so it's a redundant issue. And to get
Yeah, but you have to qualify to get to BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
You qualify
It's like-
regionally.
Yes.
You can't even compare it. There's so many different levels. There's so many filters before you even get to the part
but
where you're
what
even
you're
close
saying-
to a medal.
but what you're saying is that when we go to the track meet in your world, if we go to watch the Olympic track running event, what we're going to see is North America or all these different countries, USA, all of these people are going to be sending their own homebred Nigerian runners to run and compete in track. But that's not the Olympics. That's not what it's about, right? Like, the Olympics will give you the best player, but not every single person in the, like, I'm sure that there are, I'm using countries that I don't fucking know shit about,
It's
right?
not-
Is Nigeria the one with Usain Bolt? Who has the fast fucking
No,
run?
that's
Jamaica.
about Bahamas. It's Jamaica.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it is, right? There are
Jamaica.
probably better runners from the best running countries that could be placing in every single Olympic spot, but instead other countries are placing because that's how the Olympics works, right?
Well, Jamaica has like probably a couple of those spots, and America does too. But I
Okay,
mean,
but don't
you
you
have to
think that,
qualify.
like,
You have to.
do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
No,
that's
I
it's
understand.
a philosophical question you have to
Yeah,
ask.
I understand what you're
is,
saying.
I was under the impression that BlizzCon is supposed to be the 16 people who were the best from their respective regions. You have the best players in NA, the best players in EU, the best players in Korea that will come together, and then from there you will get the one world champion. Not BlizzCon is these are just the 16 best players, period. There's nothing regional or anything. It's just another tournament. It's just the 16 best players, period, who will then come and play. That's what I thought. Now, if you think it's the latter, then yeah, of course it should just be 16 people from WCS Korea and fuck everyone else. But I was under the impression that BlizzCon was supposed to be the former, so that we all had our own people we could root for, even though they get their fucking shit stomped in, just like the side characters in any fucking movie that you go and see who show up just to get killed by the protagonist. Like, maybe that fucking happens every time, but I thought that BlizzCon was supposed to be where all the different regions come together and then we watch the Koreans kill everybody. Maybe that's what they do, but like that's what I was under the impression that it was supposed to be. There, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is what it's supposed to be, right? But the whole region thing is, I mean, there's just two circuits, right? There's WCS circuit and there's WCS Korea. We're not talking about like this past year, right? Where
Well,
there were
but
different
Richard,
regions.
what Richard is
just-
saying is that it's bullshit that if you have 16 players at BlizzCon, you don't have the best 16 in the
I know
world. You
that.
have
I
8
know that.
players.
Yeah, but he was making some comments about region, though. I mean, I mean, I do agree with you, Stephen. But even what we have here is a tiny bit different too. You know, they combined all the other regions essentially into a circuit. There's only two things, right? There's essentially only two regions, and one region is Korea, the other region is basically everything else. You know, kind of clumped into one. And yeah, BlizzCon, I think they're changing it. They're changing it to have basically, you know, Korea versus the rest of the world type of thing, and having that represented. But my point is
saying
that
we don't want A players getting stomped at BlizzCon the whole time. Doesn't
they
this happen
won't.
in the Olympics?
But
Like,
they
even
won't.
might, but it
It's
does.
like-
In the Olympics, there are people that show up and go, even if they qualify the best in their country to go to an event, they get their fucking shit stomped in, and they never win, and no one expects them to ever win. Like, does this not happen?
Everybody talks about that, but what happens if like one of those players actually wins at BlizzCon, guys? Like wins like one, even the first round, like, or wins the group or qualifies to pass the groups. I mean, that's a huge story, right? And that makes BlizzCon, you know, possibly more interesting than it has been. I mean, I've enjoyed BlizzCon. Don't get me wrong, like the last two years, but
is the potential for that story worth the retirement of Korean players?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to get to next. Yeah.
Like, how would you feel if you were the 9th best player in the world and you don't get to go to BlizzCon because people wanted the opportunity, while the 9th through the 16th best players in the world who don't get to go to BlizzCon because people wanted the opportunity for a worse foreigner to be
so
there?
I mean, that's where it comes into, like, we are going to be sacrificing like StarCraft 2 in Korea, and there are going to be people retiring. We're seeing more folks retiring, whether it's because their careers are just coming to an end naturally anyways, you know, and military is coming up, you know, you can decide on those things. But for the most part, I believe that, yeah, more Korean players will retire, and it's because of this new system. But you have to compare it to, like, will StarCraft 2 grow if you don't try to make steps like this? You know what I mean? I don't think it will. I think it'll just continue to
grow
be...
the StarCraft 2, that's a totally different... StarCraft 2 is never going to grow or fall based on their fucking tournament shit. We need to get more people playing the game. That's a completely and totally different...
Yeah, but getting them to play the game at this point is... I mean, esports definitely helps to some degree. You know, like, we can only promote the campaign as much as you can, right? I mean, how else are you going to get people to play it, right? So using...
I mean, my
esports...
child's mom plays League of Legends, and I asked her, like, I'm pretty sure that if I were to call her up and ask her what she feels about, like, the LCS NA versus EU changes, she'd have no fucking idea. Like, I'm pretty sure that if you load up, like, an ARAM in League, I don't think a lot of those people are going to have, like, huge opinions on the status of, like, the Korean ladder or the whatever, like... That's totally different.
I mean, forget even just, like, growing StarCraft 2 as a game. Growing StarCraft 2 as an esport. Same thing. I mean, like, you've seen the same story, like, forever now. It's the same story forever.
This is arguing. This is like the abortion argument, okay? The entire abortion argument comes down to, is a fetus a human or not? Really, right? You can argue 50 million other things, but that's the only thing that matters, okay? Yeah. In this argument for WCS, the only thing that matters is BlizzCon supposed to be the 16 best players in the world, or is BlizzCon supposed to be regional representatives that come together to deliver you the best player in the world? If you have the answer to that question, then everything else follows very logically and very easy, right? If BlizzCon is supposed to be the 16 best players in the world, then you just draft everybody in from fucking WCS Korea. If you want to go move there and fucking train up to do it, then that's it. The 16 best players in the world, best competition, period. If it's supposed to be regional, then fuck Korea. You get 8 from there and then 8 from the rest of the world, and then it works fine. We have representatives further and it's done. So that you just have to figure out, like, philosophically, like, what is BlizzCon supposed to be? And then once you have the answer to that question, everything else is very simple to figure out, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, I think, and it's pretty clear they're taking the regional or the pseudo-regional approach versus top 16 players. Yeah, so we'll see how it turns out. I think I personally think it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, the community, I think, has been pretty split, or maybe even think it's a bad thing. But I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it turns out. Steven, how do you? I mean, do you think it's good or bad? Like, just personally.
Without the ladder changes coming into play, it makes no difference whatsoever.
I mean, there's some ladder requirements. There's some ladder requirements.
No, the ladder requirements was like 100 wins, I think, in a month or whatever.
Yeah, which is pretty low. I wish it was higher than that.
It's nothing. It's honestly relevant. And those games aren't even good games. It's going to be Koreans. I think even Jaedong did this, where you just come in, you just fucking cheese your 100 wins, and then you piece the fuck out, and you're never seen again. For me as a player, like, for me as somebody that would like to have an opportunity to qualify for WCS, because I would be hype as fuck. I would enjoy that. Right now, I have probably almost no opportunity to do so. Unless I were to, like, No, I really don't think so, because I would have to find some way. I would have to move. Like, if I really was serious, if like the only way I could live was like qualifying for WCS, like I would move in a heartbeat to the East or West Coast. Like, because doing it in NA is just not possible. The quality of the games is not good enough. The quality of the players are not good enough, and anybody that's worth anything is already playing games in EU or Korea anyway. There's no opportunity for somebody who lives in NA, even somebody at the top of the ladder, to qualify for anything. And no amount of WCS changes are going to change that, as long as everybody else is laddering on different ladders.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. But we'll see what happens. WCS 2016. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another iteration at the end of 2016. But yeah, we'll have to see again, like what the aftermath in Korea will be like at the end of the year. That's, I think, the biggest question. Okay, well, let's move on and let's talk about Star Wars. We haven't even talked about Star Wars yet. So you guys see the movie yet?
Are we doing that?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do that?
Let's do
Yeah, I went to see it at the cinema.
Steven?
It was okay, right? It wasn't like amazing, but it was cool. It was way better than the prequels.
I mean,
we gotta get into more talk and just like it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we get.
No, but I mean, okay, so
yeah,
first off, like it's obviously been massively talked up in reviews and in the press and the media, and it has been massively oversold as being this amazing movie, when in actual fact I think a large part of that is just down to relief that it wasn't the fucking Phantom Menace.
It wasn't any of the
Honestly, like,
top three, the first three. It just wasn't the first three.
It was less like you had to look at it. So you had to look at Star Wars going in. It was less like orgasming, where you're building up to this huge thing and it has to be fucking awesome, and it was more like getting a shot and realizing it didn't hurt that much, is like how you view it, right? You go in, you watched it, it wasn't as bad as the prequels, you take a sigh of relief. I think that if you had like that approach to it,
it was a little better than that to me. It was a little better than that.
Yeah, I mean,
no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say as well, the one thing that came out with the whole Star Wars thing that fucking blew my mind is, like, I've never seen a bigger group of overprivileged fags in the fucking world.
Richard, why do you have to hate everything?
What? Where?
Right, no, listen. I'm not hating on the Star Wars, but the people who fucking cry about spoilers, is this really the fucking world that we live in? Like, even now, the movie's been out like for what, 2 fucking weeks, and there's people in the chat going, "No."
We haven't even talked about anything yet. I was gonna give the spoiler. Yeah, we haven't even talked about anything.
Fuck you. If you think you have some sort of divine right to be protected from people discussing art in intimate details, you are a fucking cunt. Fuck off.
Well, we can give the disclaimer. The disclaimer.
Don't spoil it.
Spoilers incoming.
There was a game last night. There was a game 2 days ago, and someone won it. Don't spoil it. Everyone else mustn't talk about it, so I can be on the internet, my little playground, and no one says anything I don't hear. Fuck off. Seriously. You cry about fucking spoilers, you are a spastic. Fuck off. I'm done with it, man.
I'll just give the spoilers warning. There's a spoilers. Golly, man.
Han Solo dies. Han Solo dies. Fuckers, deal with it. He's dead. He's fucking dead. Everyone knows it. That isn't even a secret. I knew that going into the movie. It didn't ruin the fucking movie, you dumb assholes. It's not a big deal. It's fuck it. Honestly, fuck these people crying about spoilers.
Richard, come on. You have to tell it. Like, if you didn't know, it is a little bit more if you don't know what actually happens, right?
They fucking won. They won. There was a gif of Han Solo.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, come on, dude. Come on.
Sorry, I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, did I cry about it? You've got fucking magazines writing articles about it.
I know, but what I'm saying,
magazines writing articles about it. Let's not spoil them. Kotaku, who have spoiled games habitually by releasing things early, details of games, complaining about spoilers. Fuck spoiler culture. Just deal with it. You know what we used to do back in my day? If you didn't want something spoiled, you put your hands over your ears and you fucking and you got another hand from someone else and you put that over your eyes and you just ignored everything until you saw the shit and you didn't blame other people for it.
Well, it's pretty hard to do nowadays. You'd pretty much have to be like in a hole.
Exactly. With the fucking internet, it matters that much to you. If you're the kind of person who's gonna go, oh well, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, like Han Solo, but it's ruined the whole movie experience because I knew a minor detail or a major detail or any fucking detail about a film before I watched it. Forget the other fucking 2 hours where Han Solo isn't dead. Come the fuck on, guys. Stop
Oh
being
my
fucking
God.
children.
All right, let's get back to
Stop being
talking.
children.
Let's get back
Spoilers
to
are not a
talking
big
about the
fucking
movie.
deal.
Let's talk about the fucking movie. All right.
So,
So
to echo, actually,
let's rank
Richard is
them.
saying-
Let's rank them first, because like there's been people rank.
Richard, what?
Let,
Since Richard is being like really huge on this, because I'm being like the voice of sanity here, I
What?
actually do agree. I think that
You
people
do
that like get hung up on people that get hung up on the spoiler shit like are very childish
Thank
to me.
you.
Like you
Thank
go in
you,
and you
Steve.
enjoy a movie,
You
like
may be
maybe
a pedophile apologist, but thank you. All right?
maybe this is just because me and Richard are elite media consumers. Okay, level 3 consumers. No, I'm just kidding. But like really, like you go in for a movie and you watch it and you enjoy it for the story and the presentation of the story. If you feel like the entire media has been ruined for you because of a spoiler, I feel like you were watching it out of this like childlike sense of like wonder, and you just want to be like amazed by like
reading?
a big like plot twist. What?
like imagine if you watched Sixth Sense and you knew the freaking end. I mean that sucks compared to watching the Sixth Sense like for the first
like,
time. I mean,
I understand
come
that-
on,
I
that's
understand
like
that a minority
obvious.
of people. I understand the minority of people would agree with me, and I understand that I'm talking to no one now. But like, if you watch a movie, and 100% of your enjoyment comes from the shock factor of like the plot twist, like you're watching a movie like a 2-year-old, like in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just
Oh,
like
man.
I
Wow.
like for instance like Game
Okay.
of Thrones. Like I watched the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, right? And I had by the time I watched it, I had almost everything spoiled for me. But the story of Game of Thrones is very enjoyable. And watching everything set up is like very enjoyable. And just because I knew that like Ned Stark was going to get beheaded in season 1 doesn't mean that all of a sudden when it happens, I'm like, oh golly, like well this just isn't exciting anymore because I didn't know it was going to happen, and now it's all been ruined for me. Like
I mean,
it's still
it doesn't-
a very enjoyable story.
Yeah, but I mean,
set up.
okay, so
the
it-
nerve of
Oh
Game
my
of Thrones
God.
fans, by the way, who
My
fucking
God.
complain about
This
spoilers.
is-
when
I
the
can't
book's
believe
been out
it.
for fucking how many years before it? You know, it's like if I was watching a TV show about the life of Jesus, and I'm like, what? He gets crucified at the end? Like, holy shit! Like, don't ruin that for me. It's only been in the fucking Bible for God knows how long. I mean, people
can't-
are fucking this
can't-
dense. Like,
I can't believe we're arguing.
what the?
I can't
the
believe it.
Titanic
So
sinks?
God's rich. So Steven, okay, it doesn't take away the fact that the piece or the movie or the book or whatever it is good. It's like a present. A present. If you're gonna get the present that you wanted all Christmas, it's great. But if you know what's in the box, that's fine, right? But there's an added element to it, not knowing what's going to happen, and it being awesome too.
I guess, but I mean,
in
my personal opinion, like the added element is so absolutely insignificant, but it's never bothered me. Like I've never, like I knew for a fact that I was going to see. Maybe I'm acting like really condescending, but like I knew I was going to see the Star Wars movie 100%, but I didn't make any effort to avoid spoilers. I didn't really give a fuck. Like I knew Han was going to die going in, but it's not like all of a sudden I know and it's like, oh well, no, I don't want to see the cool spaceship scenes, and I don't want to see the presentation of the story, and I don't want to see how does Han die and what is the relation of all the
Well, of course,
characters.
yeah,
this is all
nobody's questioning that.
but it's like it just seems like I don't know. Like I view people that like get really hung up on spoilers the same. I feel like those are like the same people that are like get really obsessed with like reality TV. Like you're like every time something happens, like oh my god, I couldn't believe oh my god, like those kind of people. It's like, dude, like I don't know. That's just a thing. I understand that I'm in the minority there, but
all right, well, let's get back to the movie itself. So you guys, I think I know where you guys rank it, but let's just rank them. Where does it fall into the 7? Like ranking them,
Jesus
the
Christ.
one.
We're like not even Star Wars experts,
it's
man.
above.
No,
it's
just
above
like
any
for
of the
you,
prequels.
just for you. Like where do you
Any
fall?
of the prequels.
Yeah, any of the
Prequels
prequels.
are fucking-
Is it any better than the original 3?
Unbelievably bad. From fucking Misa Jar Jar
Okay.
Jazz hands to fucking to no, just a fucking cinematic abortion. I watched that fucking final one. What's it called? Revenge of the Cunts or whatever. The final one where fucking Darth Vader just did no. Everyone in the cinema laughed. By the way, that was meant to be like an emotional scene. It's fucking embarrassing. Fuck those fucking films. So they don't even count. Anyone like, oh no, we need to have a revision actually about these films and how good they were. Fuck you. They were turds floating around, swirling
Nobody's
around
gonna
the fucking
nobody's gonna
cinematic
argue
toilet
that.
bowl.
Nobody's gonna argue
Alright,
with
good.
you on that. Okay, so better than any of the
So,
original
where-
3. Is it better than
where-
any of the
where-
original
like-
3? Isn't it? Is it better than
There's like
any
an
of the
argument to
original
maybe say it's better than Jedi. That's it.
3? Okay,
It's like maybe an argument.
yeah. Steven,
Maybe
better
it's better than
than
Jedi.
any of the original 3? It's not for me.
Empire,
it's definitely not for me.
That's like the prevailing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it is, but I consider Jedi the weakest in the original fucking trilogy. And again, a good way to spot someone who's got like a very childlike brain. It's like, no, Jedi's the best. It has the Ewoks in. Fuck off. Kill yourself. Don't talk about Star Wars, please.
So I think it's well accepted that 5 is probably the best one, right? I think most.
Yeah, Empire's number 1 for me.
Empire Strikes Back is number 1.
Empire's number 1.
Probably A New Hope. Most people would probably say that.
It's like a tie for me between both of them.
Between what, A New Hope and Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the Ewoks, the Jedi would be better. But God,
I mean, that's like saying if it wasn't for the Nazis.
No, I'm just saying like the rest of the story was actually really good.
Cool.
No,
the
it's just
Ewoks.
It's a pretty close to a tie for me for the.
Okay, well, like so even if it's close, like I think so. Like 5 is probably the best, and then 4 and 6 can be equal. I guess it's not really that important. In my personal opinion, I thought 1 through 3 were all equally horrible. I didn't like any of those films, and no, the lightsaber fighting in 3 wasn't redeeming at all. It was fucking retarded as fuck. So 7 probably sits somewhere between like it's obviously 7 isn't going to be Empire. But probably somewhere around like Return of the Jedi or New Hope. I would say maybe like a little bit lower between those. It's somewhere between the prequels and the original, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's hard to compare them, right? Because they're made at different times. But I remember seeing Jedi in the theater. Like, my dad brought me to see Jedi in the theater. So seeing that for the first time was like amazing.
Shit, that's old, man.
Well, I saw Empire in the theater too. But my dad brought me to Jedi. So that was... That was kind of cool to bring my son to.
That's like you went to see your first. I remember the first talkie pictures. Man, we all couldn't believe Chaplin's voice sounded that way.
So, anyways, like seeing that kind of seeing that shit
dude.
for the first time was, just amazing, and I think that probably helps too.
Okay, wait. So, Richard, do you know like a lot about like a decent amount about Star Wars?
I don't know how to answer this.
Do you know like okay, let me.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Top meme. Listen, this is a 10 out of 10 meme. Are you aware of all like the fucking around that Lucas did with like the special edition versions and all like the Han shot first and all that shit?
The Greedo and the.
I'll get triggered as fuck about that.
Okay, wait. Did you ever see the Lucas special edition trailer for Star Wars Episode 7?
Oh, did someone make like a satire, a parody?
Oh shit!
You're talking about that thing that was just edited the script or whatever, or the storyline or whatever, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Hold on. This is very rare that I'm gonna share with you a 10 out of 10 meme. Okay.
Oh
but
God.
This is a 10 out of 10 meme.
It's a 5 out of 7 meme.
No, this is a.
Is this the New Hope thing? Is this the New Hope thing that's edited?
No. This is actually. Okay, so here, this is the original. This is worth every minute of your life right now. This is the original 1 minute 30-second trailer. Watch it right now to refresh your mind. You have to watch it, and you have to remember the entire trailer. Okay, go.
Oh God, we're gonna watch it together. All right, let's watch it together.
Sure.
Guys.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. Hold on.
It's at the time we watched that porno together, except it's slightly less awkward. But I'm not masturbating.
Shut up, dude. Don't tell everybody about that. That was like your show. That's what it was.
Okay,
man.
well, take it in. Remember the trailer. You need to remember every scene.
There's
very
something
important,
in the
okay?
God, I can't blow this thing. I can't blow this thing anymore. Fuck. There we go. Oh shit, it's loud. Fuck. This is like the original one, right?
Yeah. The original trailer. Just watch it and take it on.
The dark side.
That lightsaber, man. This is like the only part with the Millennium Falcon where the 3D is actually anything. Going to watch it in 3D.
Right. Okay, so
Okay, yeah, we saw it.
Okay.
Okay,
Now
what?
Okay, so I'm gonna trust that you're familiar with most of the changes. So Lucas made a lot of really fucking autistically fucking retarded changes to the Are you familiar with most of them? Like adding all the
Yeah, fuck yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, we have to start this together. Let us know when you start it. So this is let me know when you're ready. Okay, count us down, ChanManV.
Okay, hold on, let me load it up. All right, here we go.
All
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, starting
Hold
it.
on.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I'm in.
Oh God.
There has been an awakening.
Okay.
We felt it.
I don't even know why I'm laughing at that. Oh, come on.
When he put the rocks in front of R2D2. the whatever scene. Oh my God, they added
That dodge is wicked.
the dodge.
The dodge.
The dodge.
The dodge was
wicked.
cool.
The dodge is
Dark
wicked.
side.
Oh, wait, his lightsaber.
Trade negotiation.
Uh-oh, with the Millennium Falcon. He's gonna go into somebody's mouth. Oh, no, okay. Okay.
Fair play. Well memed.
Okay, yep, well memed. Definitely. Definitely.
Well memed. Well memed.
10 out of 10 meme for the day. Okay, that was your New Year's meme. Okay.
No, that was pretty good. That was definitely pretty good.
That's the.
Okay, so talk.
Have
Let's,
You saw like the horribly CGI'd footage of like Han Solo dodging the Greedo shot, where it, like awkwardly jerks his body, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so bad.
Oh
like.
my God, because he's a good guy. He would never shoot first, right?
Of course. Exactly.
If you listen to Lucas's explanation for everything he says, it's so mind-numbingly fucking stupid. Oh my God, the rocks in front of R2D2 when he's in the cave, the huge, like all of the extra shit in the background. He's like, I wanted to bring the city to life, and like, oh my God. All right, sorry.
So
all right, let's talk about the storyline and everything.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Actually, let's talk
terrible
about the
writing,
actors.
isn't it?
Actors. What did you think of the actors?
Performances?
Yeah,
I
performances.
mean, I
Harrison Ford.
what to say? I mean, it's a Star Wars movie. You don't watch those for good acting.
No. I mean, but just the casting, I felt like was a million times better than the first three. I mean, the episodes 1 through 3.
What? Don't compare anything to 1 through 3. That's like, how does your child's like picture look? And it's like, well, it's better than a pile of like diarrhea. Okay, well that doesn't tell you anything.
Well, still, okay.
The performances were exactly what you'd expect from like an action adventure, but everything was fine. There's no like Daniel Day, Lewis tier performances. Being
Of course, it's not an Oscar. Well, I mean, some people are talking about like it might be Oscar worthy in some different things, like maybe movie of the year and that sort of thing. I don't know. Some people were before everybody saw it. Some people were saying that, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't.
If you're the kind of person in chat that thought that Episode 3 was actually a legitimate Star Wars because you liked people swinging around lightsabers like for 27,000 minutes in some overblown fucking Aspie lava scene, like you're literally the stupidest fucking person on earth. I'm sorry, I just see some people in chat saying that. Sorry, go ahead. No, but like I don't think that like there weren't any like stellar actor performances. It just wasn't that kind of movie.
No, I mean, like they just did functional shit. I mean, this is what's
I don't
hilarious.
think it was functional.
Again, like,
okay, that's I
everyone's
wouldn't agree with
like
that.
massively overhyping the two leads, you know, and
Finn and
talking
Rey.
about and it's just like, come on, guys. Like, yeah, it's good. It's better than the average TV show, I guess, or maybe on par with it. But what the fuck? Like, I mean,
I thought it, I thought they were good choices, man. I liked them.
It was fine.
Star Wars is predominantly, I think, about like almost like an aesthetic. It's about the fucking story. I mean, Mark Hamill was garbage in the films. Like, let's be real.
Was
The
he?
original, it's not like, oh come on, we're not watching Mark Hamill going, this dude, wow, De Niro.
You're in tears.
Of course, dude. Oh, okay. I mean, he's not De Niro. Okay, nobody's saying he's De Niro. I mean,
who's better, Luke
Jesus.
Skywalker or Travis Bickle? No one's ever said that. Obviously, the acting's shit. Just the fucking, you know, that's not the point, is it?
It was okay.
No, I thought that was. I think they casted well for her. I mean, Rey's likable compared to Hayden Christensen, the Anakin. Holy shit, man, that guy was annoying as fuck.
Why do you keep comparing?
Because they
I
casted
really thought
that.
The actors were all way more interesting than Jar Jar Binks. Like I would say that.
See,
for sure,
there's one thing about writing a script with characters like Jar Jar, and it's another thing when they cast people who are annoying as fuck and shitty, you know, like really shitty at what they do too. Like who knows? 1 through 3, as much as we hated them, I still probably would have hated it. It still would have been a little more palatable if it was not Hayden Christensen. and probably not Natalie
really.
Portman
The
too.
script was horrible. What Natalie Portman's
DiCaprio
job was
come out
just-
today
Dude, sounds
and
like
there's an
she
article
acted
and-
the shittiest, like in any movie she's ever done.
She
in
didn't
that
act
movie.
the shittiest. She had like the shittiest fucking script. What was she supposed to do? Like her
know,
lines
man.
probably said, "You are the queen, be emotionless," or "You are the princess, be a fucking retard." Like that was probably like.
Yeah, it's
word
like
for word
everybody's
of the script.
worst performance was in like Star
And the
Wars.
Anakin dude was like literally like be as edgy as possible. Like
Mate,
don't show 3
dude,
days.
That
before-
guy, that
He's
Hayden
annoying as
Christensen,
fuck.
Seriously,
That guy's
seriously,
annoying
like
as fuck.
this guy is he even done another film?
He did some.
I've
I
never
don't
watched
think.
one.
He did some.
I don't think it
jumper
was.
movie
I don't
one
think
time.
it was on the actors. The script was fucking horrible.
I
Like
think
there's
Yeah,
no
script-
way.
yeah,
that,
It was both.
there's no
script
way
is
that better
definitely
actors could
horrible.
have brought it to any higher level than it already was. Like
Harrison Ford. What do you think of Harrison Ford then? In this one.
you did okay.
Well, I
Don't-
mean,
It was
I
okay.
mean,
that was it, dog. Like what are you asking? Like it was okay.
let's be real. They bring
Yeah.
all the old motherfuckers back. It ties it. There's
Yeah.
some relevancy there. You guarantee all the fans buy in. Yeah, look, look at this. Yeah, this is great. I mean, obviously, at least one of them was going to get fucking offed in the first fucking movie for emotional.
well, they all
resonance.
have to get
But
off.
also,
Let's be honest. Like they're all.
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
die.
but also
I mean,
symbolically, it's the the reason this happens is actually for marketing purposes. By the way, it's got nothing to do with whether it's a good storyline or not. It's just so you have that emotional severance with the past and you accept the new franchise as the future. And that's
Sure.
why you kill the old guard. You can't have
Yeah,
them out
but I
there
don't think it-
lingering
well,
with
yeah,
their
but I wouldn't
stories
call that-
unresolved.
I wouldn't just call that like marketing purposes. Like it was a very clear thematic
story,
bridge.
yeah,
It had to
yeah.
bridge the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like that was okay. That was
There
okay.
is-
for sure, yeah.
There is, but again, the writing in this movie was pretty fucking poor. I mean, if we're just being honest.
Well, I mean, it's
I mean,
it's
it was-
episode 4. It's like episode 4 with a few changes, right? And so was episode 1. It was the
was
same. It's like
okay.
episode 4 too. It's the actual storyline I felt like was not innovative at all. But I think
It's pretty much a rehash of the first movie in a lot of ways, right? I mean,
for
there's definitely a lot
one,
of
4, and
parallels.
7 are like very parallel to each other in terms of the script, and that
I
was
think
kind of
so.
that was
Somebody made, like, a
disappointing.
I think it would have been really interesting to see the movie done without Starkiller being involved in the movie whatsoever. I think it would have been a more interesting
Starkill-
movie.
Oh, you mean the weapon?
The
The
giant
weapon.
Death Star thing. Yeah.
God, it's
I think it's
like
called
I know.
Starkiller.
It's like, can't you think
If
of
that thing
another?
wasn't involved whatsoever,
Yep.
and it would have just been about like finding Luke, even if they would have found another way to kill Han, I think it probably would have been a better movie. But as it stands right now, it was fine.
Well, the marketing thing, to your point, Richard, I felt like they included Luke at the very end for marketing reasons, because I felt like the movie could have just ended with Han just dying, and then
What? The whole point of the movie was about finding Luke. What do you mean it was
I
about
know, but they
marketing?
could have.
Luke, how was it gonna-
No, but like the way they ended like Empire. I mean, it was just kind of like just the style of which they ended the original 3. I felt like they could have done that with this one too, instead of including Luke. Luke was literally just there for a second. I mean, it was. I don't think they had to do that, but they did it. That's fine. I mean,
Well,
it's
it
cool
sets
too.
you up for
but-
the next movie.
Yeah, sure,
Well,
sure.
No, hold
It's
on,
just-
hold on. This is way different.
Yeah.
Episode 4, when that ended, there were no plans for there to even be a sequel.
No, I'm not talking about
Really?
episode 4. I'm talking about episode 5.
Yeah.
After he gets his hand cut off, they
Okay.
rescue
Yeah, but
him, and they're
episode
just standing
5
there.
was
It's
very
just like,
clearly set up because there was going to be a next episode. Like,
there's going to be another episode here. What are you talking about? I mean, like, there's
yeah,
not going to
sure.
be an
Which is
episode
what
8. It's like,
yeah, but seeing Luke establishes that, like, oh, she found Luke. Like, the next episode's probably gonna have a lot of shit to do with her and her fucking Jedi training and her finding out that Luke is her dad and all that shit. Spoiler alert.
I mean, I just want to say as well, like the fucking Ray, the character is like just ridiculously overpowered, and it makes it very hard.
okay,
to
so
sort
we
of,
can get into that.
um,
We can get into that in Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's character too is
yeah,
like
but
ridiculous.
it just makes
It's
it
ridiculous.
really hard to empathize with his protagonists. Not because she's female, but I also feel they've really made her completely overpowered to the point of ridiculousness, to the point where she has no parallels with Luke Skywalker in the original movie whatsoever, because she's female, and that people didn't want to be accused of being sexist or portraying the weak, what is it, the damsel in distress trope.
Yeah, I mean,
But seriously,
she
is fucking ridiculous.
She's the opposite of the damsel in distress trope. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I think they rushed.
About Luke in the first movie, like he gets fucking wrecked by those Tusken Raiders. He gets absolutely fucked over straight away. Obi-Wan, that old crusty motherfucker's got to bail him out of trouble. Like at no point does it ever feel like Rey is in danger. Even right down to the final boss fight, it's never up for doubt.
Well,
right?
her
Like,
first encounter with the Kylo Ren, she got worked, right? I mean,
No, she didn't. Shut the fuck up. No, she didn't. I don't know.
I mean, she did. She,
Not work like Luke.
I mean, not work like Luke, not getting her
Tusken.
face beat in or anything like that. But
Luke gets worked in all the movies. In fact, it's not even just the Tusken Raiders. He's did the fucking hand chopped off, kicked out, fucking in space. He's in that fucking tube with the water in at the end, all fucked up.
Okay,
Then that Wampa fucking wrecks him. I mean, obviously they wrote that in because Mark Hamill was in a car crash.
He
was whooping ass over in that.
The reason why she's so powerful, and this will be explained in the next episode, is because she is the daughter of two Force-sensitive people, which is
but that doesn't explain
Leia. Luke and Leia. She is the incest child of
Oh, shut up.
That's why
Oh
she was
my
dropped
God.
off on the planet. That's why nobody remembers who she is, because they were
I'd love
ashamed
that
of
if
it.
that was true, man. Let's have an incest baby in Star Wars. I'm
that's
into
why
that.
she has
Let's
so
do
many
that.
Force powers. That's why she has so many Force powers, because both of those people were Force sensitive, and they had her as a fucking kid, 100%. Guaranteed.
Oh, man. No, I definitely agree that it was all rushed with her, and like she had zero train. I mean, the whole Kylo Ren thing kind of plays into this too. Like, how does the guy that stops a blaster shot in the beginning and is a total badass become just a chump at the end of the movie, right? I mean, he gets beat by somebody.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So apologists for the
it's
movie
crazy.
is
It's
saying
like
it's because, oh, well, you know, Kylo Ren's never fought a Jedi and he's relatively untrained and all that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, this is ridiculous. You're clearly trying to apologize for just bad writing. All throughout the movie, everything Rey does is so fucking ridiculous.
But
It
it's not
beggars
necessarily.
she
yeah,
wasn't
but it's not
trained at
necessarily-
all. That's the
It's not
thing.
necessarily. It's not necessarily bad writing. It's just the type of movie it is. It's like the type of characters you presented. Like,
yeah,
it's
that's
just
fine.
like
That's fine. But
No,
again,
but they
yeah,
rushed it.
let's
They
not-
definitely
let's
rushed
not
it, though.
sit here. Let's not sit here and say it's a well-written fucking movie,
Yeah,
or
of
it all
course
makes
not.
sense.
It's just like,
Basically, it doesn't even make sense within the rules they've already established within the Star Wars universe. Think about all Luke had to go to just to be able to lift a fucking ship out of a swamp.
Well, he went to
He had to put up with Kermit the Frog, whatever
Dagobah.
that green motherfucker was called, banging on the head with the back of the stick and swinging off vines and being an asshole. How long was he on the Dagobah system? For fucking ages, right?
Yeah, but that was a different
Just
story.
to get
That was that
basic
story,
force
but that-
mastery.
Okay,
Rey's
you're
got
totally-
telekinesis.
One time,
She can pilot ships better than anyone else.
You're totally missing the entire theme of the movies. The entire theme of the original Star Wars is watching Luke's growth from a no one into a fucking Jedi Master. Like, this movie was about something
She starts
completely
as a
different.
Jedi Master. Where's the growth?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that, like, the theming of this movie was, like, completely different. Like, it's completely different. This movie isn't about the growth of a little girl into, like, a trained Jedi. Like, all of Star Wars was following Luke. So if Luke started off as a total fucking OP, insanely powerful character, then the movies would be rendered futile. Because there'd be no story to tell, because you're not watching him grow into a Jedi Knight or whatever. Whereas for this movie, Star Wars Episode 7, the main story wasn't about her growth or whatever. It was just something completely different. So if she starts off as like an overpowered fucking character or whatever, it's not really as relevant. Does it kind of suck? I mean, yeah, a little bit. But it's not like movie destroying, because it's not what the movie is about.
It doesn't destroy the movie. It's just it was just very, very rushed. And like Kylo Ren was a character I felt like they just, I don't know what they were doing with him during the movie, because they make him, he's literally Vader in the beginning, maybe even more powerful than Vader in the beginning, stopping like blaster shots like in in midair. And then like he all of a sudden starts fighting Finn, who's never even touched a lightsaber before. I mean, the guy should be able to kill him in like literally 2 moves, right? And then he loses to Rey at the end of the movie. Like, I don't care if he got shot. Everybody's like, oh, he got shot. Who the fuck cares? Like, Rey doesn't even know how to use a lightsaber. How does that happen, right? So all that stuff is pertaining to Rey, like your point, Richard, is like completely rushed. You know, making her feel like a badass and like it's just like force fed into us that she's just really, really powerful with the Force, and she just happens to know how to do Jedi mind tricks already. You know, and like I don't know how somehow she just magically learns how to do that just by trying 2 times, and it just she knows how to even just grab the lightsaber right out of the ground, right, using the Force to do that. Like how does she know how to do that, right? So yeah, the writing for it was definitely crazy rushed at the beginning. It could have been editing. Maybe there was a lot more footage that they just cut out because of this time. And that tends to happen, right? In these blockbuster movies, everything's just like Hunger Games, for instance. I mean, all those movies seem to be like crazy rushed at the end. So that I wouldn't be surprised if that was the issue. I hope the next one isn't like that though. Is the trilogy is it planned to be a trilogy again? Do you know, or is it just like open ended?
I mean,
it's going to be a trilogy. It's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, it's going to be a trilogy. Okay, I didn't actually know for sure if it was. I mean, it would make sense, obviously, but I don't know. I was happy about it. I mean, it was. Honestly, Harrison Ford probably just made the whole thing for me. It was good just seeing Han Solo be Han Solo. That was like almost enough
like,
for me.
He only
that was
came
enough.
back so he could fucking get killed off anyway. He's been wanting to fucking, kill off the whole Han Solo thing for a while. Big payday for him as well. Obviously, he's not getting quite as much work. He is old. Like, is he in his fucking 70s now?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. All of them will die. Carrie Fisher will die too. I mean, Leia will die and Luke will die too at some point in this trilogy. Just because you can't, I mean, they can't do movies when they're freaking like 80 and 90 years old. I mean, they're not all Betty Whites here, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the writing was terrible. Like surrounding the movie,
terrible. Yeah,
it was. There was just loads of coincidences and things coming out of left field that you couldn't possibly have predicted to save the day, and obviously you can explain that away. It's been this whole part of the Force, man. Like I'm just saying, it was a good movie. I enjoyed the movie, by the way. Okay, but I just feel like I have to be the voice of fucking reason. This isn't a 10-star movie. This isn't a timeless.
Definitely not a 10-star movie. No.
This isn't even as good as the original 2 films. So let's not get fucking overhyped. Really not do that.
I did like the comedy though. The comedy was back though, which was nice.
Yeah,
it was good to see that. There was some modern comedy too.
I actually laugh.
Finn had some modern. He reminded me of Kevin Hart in a few situations. So yeah, I mean, there was some modern comedy too, and that's good to feel that kind of fresh infusion into the franchise.
Yeah.
So I mean, what interested me? What interested me way more actually was like all the coverage around it. Like I don't know if you saw some of the retarded shit that was like written about stuff. Well, okay. So first of all, are you familiar with Kevin Smith films?
Yeah, of course.
You watch Kevin Smith?
Of course, everybody does.
Hey. So would you indulge me, Chris, if I send you a link? There was a joke.
Is that from Clerks 1?
No. This is from Chasing Amy. And I don't know if you ever watched that one.
Chasing. It's probably one of his best films, actually.
Yeah, I think it's underrated in his canon. Anyway, this is.
It's Ben Affleck.
So this is like a 2-minute clip. Basically, it was like I'll just let you play it, and you need sound for it, obviously, and I won't talk over it. But basically, like there was this joke scene where they're at a comic convention.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember this.
Right, this black comic writer talks about how Star Wars is racist. So before I even continue, I guess people in the chat sort of need to see the clip. So
here we go.
Is this the one where the Darth Vader is black and takes off?
Calrissian was a black guy, you know. He got to fly the Millennium Falcon. What's the matter with you?
Who said that?
I did. Lando Calrissian is a positive role model in the realm of science fiction fantasy.
Fuck Lando Calrissian, Uncle Tom, nigga. Always some white boy gotta invoke the Holy Trilogy. Bust this. Those movies are about how the white man keeps the brother man down, even in a galaxy far, far away. Check this shit. You got cracker farm boy Luke Skywalker, Nazi poster boy, blonde hair, blue eyes. And then you got Darth Vader, the blackest brother in the galaxy, Nubian god.
What's a Nubian?
Shut the fuck up. Now, Vader, he's a spiritual brother, you know, down with the Force and all that good shit. Then there's Cracker, Skywalker. Gets his hands on a lightsaber, and the boy decides he's gonna run the fucking universe. Gets a whole clan of whites together. And they gonna bust up Vader's hood, the Death Star. Now what the fuck do you call that?
Intergalactic Civil War?
Gentrification. They gonna drive out the black element to make the galaxy, quote, unquote, safe for white folks. And Jedi's the most insulting installment, because Vader's beautiful black visage is sullied when he pulls off his mask to reveal a feeble, crusty old white man. They trying to tell us that deep inside, we all wants to be white.
Well, isn't that true?
All right. That's good. No, that's a great scene. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. That's awesome.
Yeah, mate, it's a great movie, man. Just that fucking line. They were deep inside, we all wants to be white. Isn't that true? I fucking cracks me up, man. It's such a definitely watch it. It's a good movie. Anyway, point is, okay, that's absurd. It was all a bit. It was a setup that they did. So it's a bit meta. Obviously, it's a comedy film. It's funny anyway. But the whole point is that they're all friends and they're doing that bit to generate controversy for this black comic writer's comic. And he's not really a militant black guy. He's actually an effeminate homosexual guy and doesn't have any of those political views.
Yeah.
Now, imagine my surprise when I'm just fucking chilling, catching some of the coverage about Star Wars, seeing what, thinkers and intellectuals and movie reviewers and journalists have got to say about this movie.
People that actually believe this.
Yeah, I didn't know this. And I've sent you another video, and if you'll indulge me, this is 50 seconds. This is 50 seconds.
Oh,
This is
no,
50 seconds.
no.
This is a chick called Melissa Harris Perry. And this is when life ends up imitating art.
Oh, boy.
Probably completely unaware.
Feelings, good, bad, and
no
otherwise,
awareness.
about Star Wars. I have a lot.
Again, if you'll
I'm looking at
benefit
talking
the people,
about the whole Darth Vader
yeah,
situation.
and then I'll talk about it.
Yeah, like the part where he was
it's
totally a black
unbelievable.
guy whose name basically was James Earl Jones, who, and we were, and but while he was black, he was terrible and bad and awful, and used to cut off white men's hands and didn't, actually claim his son. But as soon as he claims his son and goes over to the good, he takes off his mask and he is white. Oh yes, I have many feelings about that, but I will try to put them over here.
Oh my God.
Why do
Good luck
people?
with that.
Why do people love
God.
Star Wars so much?
Okay, wow. That's crazy. Crazy.
So. I mean,
So.
No. It gets fucking more weird, dude. It gets more weird.
It gets more
fucking
weird. There's only
crazy.
10 seconds left.
It gets more weird.
What?
It gets more weird. No, not the video. Not the
Okay,
video.
okay,
I'm
okay.
talking about just in general.
Okay,
This
okay.
mad fucking perspective. Because whenever there's a cultural touchstone these days, everyone's rushing to politicize it.
Of course.
Okay, everyone's rushing to dissect it and talk about whether or not it's part of the patriarchy or the white man's dominance over all of the races, or whatever the political theme of your particular publication or your particular outlook is. So I read one of the most absurd things I have ever fucking seen.
Oh,
I am
God.
sad to say
I'm
it was
scared.
published in the Guardian newspaper.
Guardian, too. Okay.
The Guardian, right? Who I stopped reading it, man. It's been overrun by fucking idiots. And I was a proud Guardian reader all my life, but it's just gotten to the point of absurdity. So again, just bring this up on screen. This is an article in the Guardian film section
Oh my God.
called
What is this?
Star Wars The Force Awakens Black Lives Matters First Science Fiction Film. Okay. Comes with a spoiler warning, of course, because only the fucking delicate assholes that would even entertain this as being a credible piece of social commentary would care about that. But I will just read you some of the fucking choice extracts here. It's unfucking believable. First line. After I saw Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, the first time, I was left wondering, what if under every white stormtrooper's armor was a black human? Why not, right? Why not, man? Let's fucking fantasize. After all, the only stormtrooper we actually see unmasked is played by John Boyega, and so it's possible. Though we are conditioned to believe that whiteness is the norm even in outer space, that his race wasn't an aberration but the standard. The clues were certainly there, that on a galactic scale, the First Order had conscripted black folks to do its heavy lifting, just as many other oppressive regimes have done
they
right here on
cloned a
Earth,
bunch of black
but
guys.
on a planetary scale. So, I mean, the postulation there, right there, is actually that stormtroopers are some sort of enforced slavery. But yeah, actually, the guy likes the idea that all stormtroopers are black because he thinks that's
Nah,
something.
we are
Even though all the commanders are white, all the peons are black. Apparently, that's not racist. He'd be actually quite pleased about that. Thinks it speaks to the Black Lives Matter movement. Jesus fucking Christ. You're reaching, Stephen Thrasher. It's like, you can't even parody this shit. You can't even make this up. If you'd linked me to this and said it was The Onion, I'd have thought this was brilliant. But it isn't. This is really what people are trying to do in terms of cultural fucking
God.
commentary.
It's like
No,
reading
this is what I
way
mean.
too. This is
I
like the whole
found
video.
the
This is
fucking
whole
overreach.
this is just like shit that happens in gaming, man. It's like when you're like
I found the overreach to attach some sort of societal importance, some sort of cultural importance to what is a throwaway action movie. I found that way more entertaining than the movie. Maybe that says something about me. But like seriously, some of the shit I've seen written about this Star Wars movie is unfucking real. It's off the chain. So there you go. So
right,
congratulations,
well,
Black Lives Matter. Without you, this Star Wars movie wouldn't have been possible. Stormtroopers are all black, by the way, and that somehow makes it not racist. So there you go. There you go. It's all true. There is a big racial narrative in Star Wars. Although, actually, I must confess, some of the aliens in the prequels, yeah, probably a little bit racially insensitive. Like, not enough that I'm going to go and pick it anywhere, but Jar Jar Binks is ridiculous. Jar Jar Binks is a minstrel, right? A shoe-shine-wearing minstrel. Absolutely. And what are those other fucking aliens in the trade agreement that are blatantly fucking Japanese? You know, it's like the Ferengi in Star Trek.
Oh, you mean?
Not
I
Jewish.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They're not Jewish. Are they not, with their big fucking features and all they talk about is money? Okay, all right. I mean, they look like those 1940s caricatures I saw, but fair enough. I'll give it a pass, right? I'll pretend this isn't happening. But anyway, but yeah, this is just new levels of retardation around the Star Wars film.
All right, well, episode 8 is gonna be coming out in 2 years, so we have a long time to wait. But yeah, at least we had one that it wasn't a crazy disappointment, and I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. I just want to remind you guys, we're gonna be doing call-ins, and to do that, you need to get in touch with Wars GG. He'll give you the link to Discord and just where to join up so that you can ask us some questions, and we'll be doing that really soon here. How about one more good topic here? Let's see, what else do we got here? Just the whole the transparent player salaries, right? Like, you wrote this whole article, and oh my god, I was watching your Twitter thread with Bitter, dude. It's like, my god, you like bite the guy's head off for like just for commenting on Travis's commenting on your comment about
Here's
Travis.
The thing I attack.
Holy shit, dude!
About two fucking things I attack.
Oh my god.
Stupidity, hypocrisy. I'll attack them all day. I don't care who you are. We could be best friends, right? You could be fucking my sister. Or we could be drinking and pounding beers every fucking weekend. If you're a retard or say something retarded, I'm going to call you the fuck out on it. And this guy is so lacking self-awareness and is so drunk on the smell of his own farts, like his opinion matters, that he tweets at me, obviously in a public setting, because it's Twitter, it's public, to say, your video was good and made good points, but like, how dare you attack a content creator in your content? Now, if I'm a content creator and you're attacking me publicly for attacking a content creator in my content, you're doing the same thing you're accusing me of. Well, imagine my surprise.
Okay. You're translating that in a different. That's not what.
Attacking you for asking you why you call another guy out. Do you consider that to be an attack?
He didn't attack you. He said that he would have enjoyed the video more if you didn't.
Wow,
include that.
You guys, what, do we not exist in a time where people just deliberately leverage their fucking fan bases every time they have an opinion? Why not just message me privately?
Does he even have a big fan base anymore?
Well, no, he doesn't. But again, this is what people do. They go after people who have bigger fucking fan bases and are more relevant than they are to manufacture relevance. This guy's got me on Skype. All Ben has to do is just message me and go, yeah, man, you were a bit hard on Travis in that last video. And I go, yeah, but the guy's a cunt. And that's the end of that conversation. Cheers, Merry Christmas, Happy fucking New Year. He took it to Twitter.
It's like an article
Why did he take it to Twitter?
About it.
Why did he take it to Twitter then? Can anyone explain that to me? Why? No, you can't, because I'm fucking right. That's why he took it to Twitter.
It was just a harmless comment. Yo, I would have enjoyed that article. You didn't have to go so hard on Travis or whatever. And it's like, that's it. But then, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
I know the guy. He could just message me. Just message me. That's like me saying, Steven, watched your stream the other day, boring as fuck. And just tweeting that publicly, right? I can just tell you, hey man, your stream is a little bit boring. I'm not saying it is boring, it's just an example, But I can just message you and give you my feedback, because we know each other, we're pals, we work together.
But that's an overwhelmingly negative thing. What if instead you tweeted something at me like, hey Steven, like I watch your CSGO streams, like I see you're getting better, but there's so much more you could do with like your smokes or whatever, like you could actually learn smokes. Like that would be like an equivalent comment. Because you said something nice about it, but then there was like one thing that you took.
No, I actually think he's denigrating the comment about the whole argument because I'm pointing out that, you know, you've got some disingenuous motherfucker who's trying to, again, artificially manufacture relevance because they're desperate to be thought of as a journalist instead of the fucking puppet division of Riot Media.
Even trying to be like a journalist. Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm talking about Travis. That's what he got upset about. And this is the thing as well. Obviously, you know, who has more followers? Who's more popular? Who do I ally myself with in this battle of, I better come out and publicly support the mighty Travis. Like, come the fuck on. I don't give a shit about any of that, right? So the idea that, like, Mr. Bitter, who's someone that I know Ben, you know, but I was there. I talked very positively about him during the whole NASL thing. You know, like, I know the shit he went through at NASL. Always been a big supporter of him. Always been a big supporter of his work. Well, you're just going to come out and fucking denigrate my shit for, like, a few extra. You get 5 followers off that. The 5 assholes who like stalk my shit and like downvote it and fucking put thumbs down and comment on my videos and dislikes. Well, you're going to attract them now? Well done, mate. Hope it's worth it for them 5 followers. Turns out, though, I'm on the upward trajectory. Don't know where the fuck you are or what you're doing, mate.
Oh my God.
So fuck that guy. That's just the truth. It's the fucking truth. Might make me sound like an asshole.
Wow.
Doesn't make it any less true. Doesn't make it any less true.
Okay.
Go fuck off.
Okay.
Go try and manufacture somewhere else.
Okay, all right.
You got blown the fuck out. But you could have a huge ego, by the way, and lecture anyone about their content. You could have the biggest fucking ego in the world to basically say to somebody, oh, watched your last video. Do you know what would have made it better? All of the things I think. Fuck you. Make your own video, you dumb asshole. What the fuck is this shit? So yeah, fuck that guy.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting that. But let's talk about the actual contents of the article itself. All right, so you're talking about just player salaries, you know, being transparent and being public to everybody. And just I can't even fucking talk anymore because that's fucking too funny.
Sorry, dude.
But
the thing
yeah,
is, because
so,
I feel like, because obviously the elephant in the room is we haven't had a guest on yet, and obviously we picked the worst day for guests, and all the guests are fucking bailed. So I just feel like I have to go Super Saiyan.
Exactly.
I just have to go Super Saiyan. It's like the day after Too Good's birthday. Too Good can't come on. He's hungover. John just had some chemo. He ain't feeling great. Yeah. You know, Thorin, doing what he's doing. Milo just got back from a function. All right, he can't come on.
God.
So here we all are. We've got to carry the show. So I'm trying to be 2 characters right now. On the one hand, I'm trying to be like reasoned and balanced, Richard Lewis. I read this article in the Guardian, you know, and I thought it was a little bit preposterous. And then I'm going to be outrageous, Richard Lewis, to like add a new dimension to it. Mr. Bitter's a code. Kill Mr. Bitter. Let's all kill Mr. Bitter. And obviously, between the two, we get entertainment or something. So that's what's really going on.
Okay, public player salaries. Obviously a huge proponent of that, and I think a lot of people are. So we should probably discuss it, just the negatives actually of doing it too, because I have a different opinion on it, and I kind of want to see what you're thinking. And people have been tweeting about and all they're all opinions and all that good stuff. But obviously you kind of started the whole discussion. So my whole thing is that I think for the most part players would benefit, right, if all the salaries were public. But there is this notion that players also don't make enough money right now, right, in terms of like compared to the teams, I guess, what the teams are making and that sort of thing.
We talked about this like
because you freaking tweeted.
Really need to do this?
Yes, of course we need to do it. You know, given that you kind of brought it up again. So let's
Can I just like can we just run through this topic? So I think the players probably make about as much money is whatever Richard's gonna say. The teams are screwing the players out of all the money, and their teams are evil. And then you're gonna try to find like balance between the two, and then we're never gonna agree on anything. And we'll go around that for like 2 hours. What's the next topic after that?
What?
I feel like
this is actually a different issue.
No, we haven't actually talked about this
making
before.
salaries. You should care about this as well, by the way, dude.
I'm not a pro gamer. I make my own shit.
Yeah, no, but like back when you were, right, like, okay, wouldn't you have liked to have known what other fucking players in StarCraft were earning as a salary from organizations so you could assess your own worth and then barter based on that instead of having to take a guess?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
God.
Right.
What the fuck?
Next topic then.
Well,
Anyway,
Okay,
Bill
no,
Cosby.
like, this is
Bill
the problem,
Cosby.
mates, okay?
Pedophilia again,
If you
man,
want to
guys.
make money in fucking gaming and esports, you're not a fucking team owner. It's the least profitable fucking thing. You can go and fucking play money. You want to play the game when you're fucking good. You go and you sign a fucking contract. You're gonna get paid a monthly paycheck every fucking month. Whoa, 2,000, 5,000, 12,000, whatever the fuck. Oh, every single month, no fucking risk. All I got to do is sit here and fucking play fucking games like an aspy fucking retarded fucking virgin idiot. Wow, cool. I'm so good. I'm a pro gamer. I get money. I don't have to talk to sponsors. I don't have to worry about marketing. I don't have to manage a stream. I don't have to do shit with social media. I don't have to worry about staying relevant. I don't have to do fuck all except for just scrim and fucking show up for fucking practice, and I get my fucking paycheck every month. Team owning, you have to manage a whole bunch of fucking autistic dipshits who don't know anything, who are probably gonna tweet stupid fucking shit and do everything they can to destroy your fucking company. You gotta fucking sign people. You gotta worry about a whole bunch of fucking drama. You have to do all the negotiating with sponsors. You gotta get your people in fucking team leagues. You gotta hope that nobody fucking randomly gets knocked up or murdered or raped or whatever the fuck stupid shit programmers fucking do. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit that goes on with team owning. And then all while you're doing this, you've got to be giving them enough money so that they're happy. You got to be worrying about fucking buyouts. You got to worry that fucking whatever other stupid fucking shit. If you got a team house, there's a whole other layer of bullshit on top of that now, because now you got to worry about fucking transportation. You got to worry about fucking team house, all this other shit. Owning a fucking team is not this hugely fucking profitable thing that some people seem to think it is. I think that the whole fucking salary thing, like if you want to talk about salaries and if somebody's getting paid enough, then I think that you need to, one, you have to look at every source of income. Like the thing that Slasher tweeted was the most disingenuous shit I've ever seen in my life. The top League of Legends gamers are only making a $60,000 salary. Wow, top League of Legends gamers, $60,000 salary? That actually sounds really bad, Slasher. Damn, like that's a crazy headline. Oh, but wait a second. He didn't mention the $250,000 a year they bring in from their fucking streams and merchandising and subscriptions and bonuses. Like, why would you even tweet something like that? Like, so one, if you want to talk about public salaries, I want to see every single income source. Okay, so that pro gamer is only making $60,000 a year salary. Wow, that actually sounds really shitty. Until you hear that, oh, he gets $50,000 a year in fucking streaming fucking ad revenue. Oh, he gets $20,000-$30,000 a year in fucking subscriptions. Oh, he gets $40,000 in merchandising and bonus deals. Oh, he also made another $40,000-$50,000 in prize money. Okay, so he's actually making closer to like $300,000 a year. Like that's a lot different. Two, then we need to see income of the fucking teams, because if you have all these players, wow, all of these players are only making $5,000 a fucking year. You know, a team of 5 people, $5,000 a year is fucking $60,000, or $5,000 a month is fucking $60,000 per player, $300,000 for fucking 5 players. Wow, that's really fucking shitty. Oh, but the team is only making, $250,000. This team is literally floating on venture capital. So how are we going to start ragging on them for not paying players enough? So you would need to see all the income sources of the players. You would need to see all the income and expense ratios of the fucking teams before you could even start. And all of that would have to be seen before you could even start to have a conversation on what's a fair wage to pay somebody that plays video games professionally. You would have to do all that before you can even start. But instead, you get these rabid fucking idiotic fucking retards on Reddit who just want to see, I just want to see player salaries, just see if they're even worth it. Like, that's not even a fraction. It's not even a fraction of the information that you need to make an informed opinion about player salaries. There you go. That's what I got.
Well, so your point there about like what, needing all that information to determine what's a fair salary for players. My whole thing is that what's fair, what's a fair salary for a player is just what, in like a very a very like a vacuum economics and that sort of thing. I mean, it naturally plays itself out, right? You know what I mean? Like if the industry's good and there's multiple teams
but that's the problem.
And bidding.
You're talking from the Econ 101.
Well, no, and I'm saying like no, and ignoring team unions, right? No team unions, and there's just a very capitalistic type of environment. Then it's a bidding war, and it's just like any other sport, right? Like there's precedents set for salaries.
Some people would argue that, but then some people, because then Richard Lewis will post an article about how teams are colluding to fuck player salaries.
Yeah, and that's a different story. If there are collusion, if there is a team union, there's collusion, and there's different.
But that's why people want salaries to be public. People are saying like, oh, well, somebody's being paid unfairly or whatever. Like people are making these accusations that people aren't being paid either too much or too little. So obviously people don't think that the free market of team salaries is giving players what they're worth. Like clearly we're past that point.
Yeah, yeah, and too much or too that's the whole thing about what's too much and what's too little. And again, I think there's more of an issue that there is a team union and there's not a players union, more so than there is than it's just about what they're based.
Like you need to get like the fucking daycare people to hold your fucking hand, because if you're a pro, I'm sorry, I'm really negative on this. Where's Raynad? Raynad will back me up, because I feel like Richard is gonna come back and disagree with everything I'm saying. I don't know, man. Like fucking like I know like what I'm worth, and I know I can figure out all my shit, but that's because I manage all of my own shit. Pro gamers have like a really bad time determining their worth or value. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe a players fucking union where you pay dues to fucking Snoopy so that he can get instructions from Riot on how to tell everybody what to do. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm like, this is like a really complicated thing. I don't think the average fucking Redditard is like equipped to have this kind of discussion, because you get into these whole bunch of these stupid side moral arguments about like, well, what do you even deserve to make as a pro gamer? Or like, this guy's a really bad NA player. Why is he even getting a salary at all? Like, you get into these horribly fucking autistic like conversations that aren't even relevant to the main thing. And then some people are like, oh, why isn't this guy getting paid more? And they don't even give a fuck if the team is making money or if the team can afford to pay it or what. So like everything is like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but again, I think the root of it all is just that there is some collusion, you know, or some team union that's going on between some of the top teams.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure. Of course. Yeah. You would expect it to happen in an unregulated market. You would always expect people. This is like standard, like game theory. You would always expect people to act in the most self-interested way possible. It wouldn't surprise me at all if some people were getting maybe a little bit fucked over. It's possible. I don't know. But I doubt they're getting that fucked over because fuck. But who the fuck knows, man?
Sorry, boys.
Oh, what's up?
He just missed all that, dude.
No,
that's all right. I'm sure.
So we were obviously talking about, but what my point was is that I think the root of it all is that there is just team collusion. If there wasn't team collusion, I feel like this whole player salary thing would just play itself out. You know, like what's fair to a player doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't, like us trying to figure out what the right percentage is for based on what the team makes, I think is like irrelevant conversation, because it should play itself out in a very capitalistic, competitive, you know, marketplace. So because there's collusion, I think is why we're having all these discussions, right? And even having the public salaries still doesn't fix the fact that the teams still don't have to pay much if they don't want. I mean, like, how does that fix that? You know, like, okay, so everybody's getting paid $40,000, and they should, and a lot of people think they should be paying $100,000, whatever. So, well, I don't know what that was, but I don't know how that fixes it, Richard. Like, it helps for sure. It helps like the public. It helps the public, like
mechanics for leverage.
What the fuck?
Oh no, what's going on, Chris?
What the hell is that? I don't know.
What's happening here? I don't know. Are we about?
Anyways, yeah, keep going.
Are we about to go full memes?
No, keep going. Keep going.
So yeah, I'm just saying. You know, so the idea of the whole point of having like this database of salaries so everyone can see what people are earning and blah, 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 is so you can say, okay, well, I know my worth, so I got to get this and I should get that, and he's getting this and he's getting that, and I should probably get a bit more, and actually my salary's way below what is even the average, and what the fuck am I selling myself short for? But the point is, who's actually out there to fucking leverage this information? There's no union,
right?
There's no agents, so what's the fucking point? It's just a
That's
number.
right.
It's just, and this is why players actually... it goes to show sometimes players can be their own worst enemies. You know, I talk to a lot of players about this issue. Loads of players feel super uncomfortable with the idea of their salaries being public. You know why? Because first of all, they don't want the general public to know how much they make,
right?
Because the fans will just beat them over the head with it. Well, you make $60,000 for playing games. I work in McDonald's and I make less than that. What's the world coming to? And just being fucking retards and like false equivalency and all the other bullshit that retards say. So that's annoying. And then it's like, okay, and then even if the people aren't that retarded, they can be this retarded and say, well, you're nowhere near as good as this player and he earns this much.
Oh my God. Were you listening on another mic or on another headset?
Well, am I repeating your point?
Holy shit! Yeah, both of those things, exactly what I said. Right? Damn, that was okay. Nice.
Sorry. Well, I apologize to the viewers.
No, it's good. It's all right.
But again, the rare moments of agreement. So this is why players don't like it. And also the other point is, like, Snoopy, this guy come out, and this is obviously the ex-jungler.
I even brought him up.
We always bring up Snoopy. All right, let's go.
So he comes out and he's going, I was one of the highest paid players in the West, and I wouldn't want people to know. Well, yeah, obviously, because you were fucking bad. You got massively over fucking paid. You got a cash grab. You were one of the few lucky recipients of a massive cash grab where your skills and what you offer an organization weren't commensurate to the money you got paid. Obviously, they don't want that public. And that this is one thing that no one's even talked about. It can help the organizations not overpay. Not pay for trash, because you get all these fucking retards who come into esports and are like, hey, we got a blank checkbook, so I guess we pay you shitters, what, like $2 million a year? Brilliant, yeah, and that's it. And then that company's busting every year, and they're going, I don't know what we did wrong. What, you paid a bunch of shit. It's way too much fucking money. So transparency is a good thing. It's good for the industry, but it's not so cut and dry as the idea that it's going to entirely benefit players. But that said, I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. I think it's better than not having it. Yeah. I think having this ballpark idea about where the average is and what the like what somebody should get and what somebody shouldn't get is. But you got to have. I'd rather advocate for a union or for player agents before. Simple.
Yeah, I agree too. I think the union is definitely much. From a priority standpoint, I think a higher priority than the salary. Salary is just more information, right? Like just more information out there. It's information that I think most, if there was a union, whoever's working for the union could get anyways. But maybe there is some kind of public backlash to it, and that's what people are hoping for, that the public will influence teams to pay players more. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, but to Steven's point, if the teams budgets and their actual numbers aren't public either, then it's like, what can we say, right? Who knows? Like in the past, we've definitely seen some teams overpay players in the past, and they go under, right? And that's kind of like how that's what I mean by like the market usually dictates. Yeah, the market usually dictates what the salaries should be, outside of when there's collusion with the team. So, we'll have to definitely see how that plays out. But it's definitely an interesting discussion, though. I think a lot of people have been talking about it. So,
no, actually, the point I was trying to make in the video at the start of the video, and the reason I called out content creators, sorry, Mr. Britton, right? The reason that I fucking called out other people was because everybody, right? So these guys are part of a machine, right? That is designed to, again, artificially inflate the importance of their esport. That these people have ridden on the coattails of the sheer volume of money that's been pumped in to League of Legends. You got guys like Travis, like what, he's going to come out and try and be a credible journalist when you're taking free holidays from Team Liquid to fucking Maui to create content for them and doing interviews in a jacuzzi and trying to pretend that there's no fucking conflict of interest there whatsoever for you to be an independent journalist. This is the guy who's going to come out and bat for player rights and everyone's going to fucking fall for it. No, this guy's a fuck. Like everyone else in League of Legends, these guys are corrupt pieces of shit who think about their bottom line first and fucking foremost. Nobody's ever had the balls to go against fucking Riot. No one's ever had the fucking balls to go against all the corrupt bullshit that goes on. How there's a cartel of fucking team owners who do a bunch of shady shit. There's a very limited number of people who speak out about it. And the people who are talking loudest about this player salary issue, they all look a bit like shills to me, let's put it that way. And I think it was really fucking telling that actually everybody had to have an opinion on this issue. It's actually a bit of a non-issue. Like, just do it or don't do it. Just do it or don't do it. It's that fucking simple. But everyone was like, well, I'm a player who hasn't played for 2 years and just lost a job, actually, at a high-profile gambling website. So I thought I would chip in with my 2 cents. No one gives a fuck. Your 2 cents couldn't matter less right now, mate. You know what I mean? But like, but did I mention I've got my own business coming? And people just get onto the hot button topics and just try and ride along. Pay attention to me. And it's got fuck. That's why I waited like a week before I released my video. I'm not interested in this like quick fucking, hey, this is what we need to do to make the industry better. No one's thinking about the fucking industry. These jackasses ain't thinking about the industry. They're using an issue that's actually pretty important to just get fucking views on their shit, right? And I get accused of clickbait all the time, and I think it's fucking hilarious that when these fucking retards are clearly doing exactly that, everyone falls for a hook, line, and sinker. So yeah, I mean, this issue got fucking blown out of proportion. Simply because these people fucking wanted to blow it out of proportion because it was good for views, good for them, good for their brands.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that about sums it up. Steven, any last comments on it or no?
No.
I don't have much more to say about it. All right, cool. Why don't we take some call-ins, see what you guys want us to talk about, and I think Wars is lining up some folks here. Okay, we got Ricario first. All right, here we go, boys. It should be interesting. Shit. This damn thing, it's not big enough. Hold on, give me a second. Gotta make this window.
Damn, the creator of Debian actually fucking killed himself. Were any of you guys following these tweets?
Who?
What's that?
This guy was tweeting a bunch of like
Who?
This guy was he's a big programmer guy. I guess he was the creator of Debian.
Right. Well. So
basically, I guess he had like a really bad run-in with the cops, and he was tweeting like a bunch of shit, saying he was gonna kill himself. I remember people posting these tweets in chat like a couple of nights ago, and I guess I'm guessing he did kill himself over like a run-in with the police.
Where have you found this?
Hold on, it's on this thing right here.
Let me see.
Cheers, dog.
Oh wait, someone hacked his account just before it. Wait, so how did he die? I don't understand.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Wow, okay, I don't think I know what Debian is, but all right, let's take the first caller here, Ricario. Hey, Ricario, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Got a question or topic for us?
Yeah, I want to talk about Overwatch, actually.
Overwatch?
We don't. Pick him off. We don't care about this game.
Man. I care about Overwatch. Let's talk about Overwatch.
Well, I was pretty hyped for Overwatch in the beginning, but I think Blizzard is kneecapping themselves with their decision on how to actually give access to Overwatch to people.
Okay.
So essentially,
What's
you're
your
mad
question?
that you don't have a beta.
Well, it's like I come from the TF2 community, so obviously I was very hyped for it. But I myself never got an invitation to play it, so I always had to stand on the sideline, look at it like, oh man, that looks cool. I wish I could play that, but there was just no way to actually get into it. And now they also did the whole break thing where no one can play.
Yeah,
and it's like it feels like it's taking away all the hype from, first of all, the players that couldn't get in and the players that were already in.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. You have to remember it's a beta, guys. It's, Overwatch didn't really have an alpha, so this beta is kind of like...
earlier we just had a conversation where you can't change consumer behavior. So regardless of whether or not it's just a beta, like, it's not just a beta, though. The Overwatch beta wasn't just a beta. It was a big marketing play as well. That's why you have millions of viewers watching.
No, but what I'm saying is that when it comes back, there'll be more keys that come out, and people... The thing about Overwatch, and the reason why like I'm so bullish on Overwatch... just from the standpoint of just the game itself, plus I mean, you played it too, Steven, right? And actually, you too, Richard. My whole thing is that, like, it just takes people just to play the game. The game is really good. It's, like, really fun, and I think once you play it, you'll just love the feel of it, and you'll just like the game. So I'm not worried about, like, the break was actually good. Like, I believe it or not, I actually think the break, it sucks that I didn't get a chance to play it during the vacation or whatever, but I think it was really good because the esports scene was like ridiculously moving way too fast. Like all these people trying to get like events going like every single day, and there's only like 4 Overwatch teams. Like it was insane.
Yeah, but again, people aren't doing that to grow the scene, by the way. People are doing that to grow themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like from the standpoint of even community, like we needed to like step back and just like, whoa, like slow things down here, because it's like not ready for that kind of shit yet. Like we literally saw the same 4 teams play each other 4 or 5 straight days before the break, and it was stupid. It was like ESL doing something and GoToGamers doing something, and I think Joshy doing something. I mean, it was just like the same teams, and we're gonna get oversaturation before it even starts. So like I was actually very happy that they took a step back.
What is I don't believe in oversaturation. I don't think that's a real thing.
Oversaturation, dude, when you only have 4 teams and you're seeing the same 4 teams every single day, and people doing events, that's oversaturation, dude. I mean, there's nothing special about these events at all. You know what I mean? And we're only talking about 1,000 people have the game to even play, you know? So it's like everybody's rushing, you know, to be the first or to be the whatever, right? Establish a brand or something in Overwatch, and there's only like 1,000 people playing. So I guess my thoughts, Ruck, is that I think once it comes back out again and we get closer and closer to release and more people get it, then you'll start then we can make a judgment on how Overwatch is going to be. But right now, like the previous beta, it was like 1,000 people. It was barely anybody. So once we get like tens of thousands of people having the beta, we'll see how it goes. But
it's like it's also how limited they give the beta access to the people. Like at the beginning, it was just streamers, and then I don't know how many actual waves of beta invites they actually gave out. I think it was like 2 or 3 waves, actually. I think, right?
It was rough. I mean, my guess is like 1,000. Yeah, go ahead.
Because you seem a cool guy and everything, but I'm just gonna say again, there's an elephant in the room.
Oh boy, get ready, baby.
You're kind of coming off a little bit like a salty bitch because you didn't get to play the game. I'm gonna say that, right?
Oh, man.
And I heard this a lot from people who didn't get to play the game and they didn't get the fucking beta key, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, but why the famous League of Legends players getting it?" Well, because it's marketing. They want people to see the game. They want eyeballs on the game without having to give a bunch of motherfuckers access to the game, right? And that's what it is. So yeah, you didn't get to play the game. You and a bunch of other motherfuckers just like you didn't get to play the game, right? That's just how it is. Unfortunately, when it's in a fucking beta, the access is going to be limited. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, if you can make a competent argument for me, brother, as to why you having a beta key would improve the prospects of it being a success, I'm all ears. But the reality is, not everyone's going to get into a fucking beta. That's how it's always worked in gaming. That's how it's always going to work in gaming. It's limited access. You know, it's like a nightclub. Not everyone gets to come in. You can only let X amount of people into the party, you know? I'm just saying.
I get that, but but for instance, they have the pre-ordering up for Overwatch already. So I don't know why they couldn't implement something when you pre-order it that you could get beta access to it.
Yeah, I think they will do that. It's just right now they're not ready. It's still in this phase of beta. It's probably more like an alpha, honestly. Maybe after the break it'll be more like a beta, but it was really more like an alpha in my opinion, because
do you know what the difference between alpha and beta is?
Yes, of course. I release products. I know what alpha and beta is. I mean, of course I know what the difference is, and people's definition are different. So unfortunately, did they market it too much? Did they overhype Overwatch a bit at BlizzCon? You know, both years. Last year and this year. Probably. You know, they probably did overhype it, right? And I don't know. I can't blame them for trying to push a product, you know, as just as soon as possible. But the thing is that there were some issues with the game. The game's actually very, very playable, but there are issues in terms of scoreboarded or kill feeds or the spectator and all that stuff that they need to work out. And they needed some feedback. They just didn't need a ton of feedback. And they were testing load too. That's one of the things you test in beta is load. And so they're progressively doing that. I think once it comes out, I think they're gonna release a bunch of beta keys in droves. So Ruck, I think you'll get a chance to play it probably in the near future. But that's just my guess. But the June is the actual release, so there's only like 6 months of beta or 5 months of beta, and should be a lot more folks playing it soon. And then we'll see everything develop. We'll see the community develop. We'll see a bunch of things, I guess, organically catching up to each other. Because right now, oh my God, some of the content and / events are just way too far down the road compared to the amount of interest there is in it.
Yeah, no, I'm still hyped for it. I've been just following all the content for it, but sadly just didn't have a chance to play it yet. But I'll be looking forward to it in the future, obviously.
Well, you can wait like maybe one more month, man. One more month, it'll be out.
Can I ask a question? Are you Dutch?
I'm Austrian.
Ah, fuck. Okay, never mind. I tried to guess.
Good try, man. All right, Ruck. Thanks, buddy.
Good try, Steven. You got Jamaica and Nigeria confused. Let's not pretend that geography is your fucking strong suit.
Thanks,
Ruck.
You
sounded like a guy that I was from. And I didn't get anything confused. I just didn't know where the fuck Usain Bolt is from. I don't know.
They're just black. All the black guys are from the same place.
Holy shit.
Nigerian. Oh my god.
I feel like that's probably not true, ChanMan.
What?
That all the black guys are from the same place?
Oh god. All right, next up we got Cans. What WTF? Cans, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Got a
What's up,
question topic for us?
Well, I was wondering, like, this is the end of the show, end of the year show. So
Yeah.
I've been wondering to ask you guys a question, and I would like an answer from each and one of you, and maybe Richard as last, but because
you're the most
important.
important. Because he's the most important. Is that the deal?
I think we've established that
Oh,
at this
fuck
point.
that. Fuck that.
No.
Pay attention,
No, I was.
Mr. Bitter, pay attention.
Oh my god. No, because there's going to be a lot of situations to choose from, and I'd like you to choose just one.
Okay.
Like from the whole
Choose your own
from
adventure.
whole 2015, from the whole
Oh my
2015, what was the biggest dick move, cuckster, like out of all of esports of 2015? What was the biggest fucking dick move you've ever fucking seen in
Oh,
esports?
shit.
There was a
Oh,
lot
shit.
of them.
Wow.
A lot of dick move cucking. And I'm
move
really
cucking.
interested what Steven will say.
I think I know what Richard is gonna say.
I've got an easy one.
Easy one, really? I'm gonna think about this one. All right, go, Steven. You go first.
The Geronimo Savidia stuff for me is pretty easily probably the worst.
Which one is that? I don't even.
Basically, a guy was engaged to a girl, and then she went and she found like a bigger streamer to date. She has like a history of like dating big streamers, and she decided to go date Waffle while she was engaged to another guy. It was quite the cuckening.
Wow.
Have you not heard of this at
No,
all?
I didn't know anything about this.
I'm not really doing it.
Hi, brother.
I'm not doing it justice at all. Like this is like quite a sad cuck story. Like it is quite
Go
the
on,
cuck.
man.
Do you
Come
want
on,
to
tell
hit like?
me about it.
Come on, like,
You
yeah,
fuck it.
exactly, dude. It's like, well, okay.
Don't just stick the tip in, dude.
Exactly.
This is unfiltered, man.
Exactly.
Unfiltered end of the year. Come on.
Okay, so basically what was going on was Sovidia is some chick that dated another streamer called was it Soda Poppin', I think Sovidia dated.
Oh, wow.
And they
Yeah.
had some issues or whatever. A lot of people accused Sovidia of only dating Soda Poppin' because he had a lot of viewers. People don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. So eventually Sovidia and Soda Poppin' break up. Sovidia finds another guy called Geronimo, a League of Legends player. I think he's pretty good. He's on like Masters or Challenger or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he's pretty good. So her and Geronimo are dating for quite a while. I want to say 2 years, but I could be making that up. But they've been dating long enough that they live together and they're for real engaged. Not like we're gonna get married someday, but like he had bought her an engagement ring and he'd already bought like the wedding ring and everything. Oh wait, Soda Poppin' dated Legendary Leia.
It's Civ. It's Civ HD you're talking about.
Was it Civ HD?
Yeah,
Civ
yeah.
HD, Civ HD.
Mhm.
Sorry. Is Soda Poppin' Swedish or just Civ HD?
Civ HD is Swedish, I
Civ
believe.
is Swedish.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, some
Soda
Swedish.
Poppin'-
Soda Poppin's
We all
American.
know they
I
love a
think-
bit of cooking out there, man. We all know that shit, right? We all know what's going on in Sweden. Holy shit.
So basically,
Naniwa, man.
so Vidya and Geronimo were engaged to get married. So Vidya said yes. She had the engagement ring. Geronimo bought a wedding ring and all this stuff. And so Vidya goes off to TwitchCon. She goes off to TwitchCon, and Geronimo doesn't go for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Well, in the process of her going to TwitchCon, she starts tweeting all of these like super coupley pictures with another guy called Giant Waffle. Giant Waffle is a streamer who started to get big because he sucked enough of the left nut of like Lyric to leech enough viewers off of him to start to grow his stream. He was a friend of Lyric and he started to get viewers that way. And so he was actually like a reasonably big streamer, I think like 6,000 or 7,000 viewers, I think. I don't know. So Giant Waffle and Sovidia start tweeting all these things about them hanging out at TwitchCon, and it's like really weird. Like Sovidia is tweeting things like, "Oh, this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like I'm so happy that I'm here," and it's like really weird because her and Geronimo were like engaged to get married. So it was like super weird cuck shit going on. And then eventually it got to this point where I guess Sovidia and Geronimo ended up breaking up while Sovidia was literally at TwitchCon like fucking like Giant Waffle. And Giant Waffle's just like tweeting these happy pictures and everything like in the meantime. And it was like the most like, it was like the weirdest like public cuck shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like if Giant Waffle would have been just like a few shades darker, it would have been like a literal cuckening and everything. Like it was just the weirdest fucking thing. Like, and it was so bizarre watching these tweets come out. And yeah, it was like this. And then Geronimo did like a 2 or 3 hour stream where he explained everything, and he was like crying, and he showed like the wedding ring that he bought Sophia. And, like,
Oh,
they, like,
man.
all together and shit, and,
That's brutal.
Yeah, it was like super. It was like super. It was like the tackiest fucking thing I had ever seen. I legit felt like really bad for the Geronimo guy. Like, it was like the tackiest fucking shit I'd ever seen in my life. And meanwhile, Savidia is tweeting all of these like basic bitch high schooler things. Like, she's tweeting like things like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you deserve me at best. And like guys, you don't know the full story. Like, you just don't know. Like, things that would like excuse her tweeting like coupley pictures with giant waffle, like, and him tweeting shit. Like, just like the dumbest fucking things possible. I don't know, dude. That girl is like very special. I remember doing all of this. She's very special. Like, when she tweeted that, I remember I tweeted something at her because me and her were kind of friends. We'd stream together a few times, play some games, and she that was a whole other thing. But she had tweeted that thing, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And I tweeted in reply, I was like, I totally agree with you. I was really physically abusive with my last partner, and they never understood how I felt. And she was like, I'm glad someone else knows the struggle. Like, she tweeted that back at me. I was like, is she actually serious? But I guess somebody told her the next day that I was being sarcastic, and then she blocked me and all that shit. But yeah, so it was like this huge cuckening that happened between her and Geronimo. So
wow. I don't I don't know anything like that. Holy crap. I'm having a hard time. Richard, can you think of anything?
Oh, I can. Okay,
I'm serious.
I know you have a hard time.
I'm trying to think of one.
Never say anything
I haven't
bad
been
about
back.
anyone, you
I haven't been
vanilla
back
fuck.
that long, dude. Let's see.
Well, I haven't been back that long. You've observed dick moves in esports.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of
Okay,
2015. 2015.
So if you can come up with one, I'm gonna tell you my one. I think
do it. I'm interested in hearing yours, actually.
I think Zhao Wei Zhao was the biggest cuckening for me. Like, that guy got so royally fucked.
Which guy? What happened?
Wait, which one was that?
He was a professional player for TIP team. He was a Chinese import for any League of Legends team, and he was allegedly caught boosting accounts and selling a Riot-given account on some account selling site, and he got allegedly there was no involvement from the management of the TIP, but there were some signs that the manager could know about it. But ultimately, Riot blamed everything on Zhao Wei Zhao, and they basically evicted him, like deported him back to China immediately. That was the biggest cuck for me. Like, what the fuck was that all about?
Okay.
That
was pretty bad. Yeah, that sounded pretty bad.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Oh my God, let me think. I'm not seriously having a blank. I'm trying to think of anything that was really bad this year. Wars of Time. Oh God.
But I got sent something fucking awesome. There was a real cooking going on.
How about the Hearth Arena, ChanManV?
Which one? Oh, Hearth Arena. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Yeah.
Close to
yeah, that was pretty close. It wasn't. I mean, that wasn't like crazy bad though, but that's about
those guys. Just like that was a bitch
they went
move
at
as
it.
well.
I mean, it was crazy because I knew.
Give us more money. Like,
I know both. Well, I know both of the parties. That's why it was interesting. I actually know the full story for both of them, and
yeah, give us some dirt, man.
Definitely side a little more.
Give us some dirt.
At the end of it, I definitely side more with Jeremy, just being a developer myself. But I could see how Edwakta and those guys would feel like they were valued, like appropriately by asking for equity. But I think what you'll see in the near future, because there's rumors that Hearth Arena is going to have Crip, kind of replace them. So that obviously would be a huge thing for Hearth Arena, but it's a rumor. If they're replaceable, then obviously the Hearth Arena guy was absolutely correct. Yeah, so that one was the cuck move. I mean, it was shitty of him to actually bring it public, and to kind of discuss that out on Reddit, and he obviously misinterpreted Reddit behavior, Reddit's response to it. But so yeah, it was a kind of a dick move to do it publicly. Sure, yeah, that was pretty bad. I just feel like there's something worse. I'm just not thinking of right now.
I mean, they wanted just more money, and when the guy said no, they just went to Reddit crying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I don't think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, taking it to public, yeah. No, that was definitely not a good move. Not a good move at all. And it blew up in their face too. So it kind of didn't blow up crazy in their face. I mean, they still have a pretty good following, but it did not work out the way they wanted to. Absolutely not. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. If I think of another one, I'll bring it up. But Richard, you definitely have some. God, it's like for sure.
Oh, obviously. I mean, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think of one that doesn't involve me directly.
I know.
So, you see what I'm saying? That's the hard part. I'm trying to empathize with my fellow esports professional and look at the guys who got fucked over and this shit.
Richard Lewis.
Well, we can just say DreamHack. I mean, DreamHack. I mean, I'll say it. I mean, DreamHack. As much as I love, Adabisi and Hellspawn, those are friends. They're friends. They're friends of mine too. They're friends of mine too. But I think the fact that the fact. Hold on. The fact that your punishment was, Loda did not get the same kind of treatment that you got, or you didn't get the same kind of treatment that Loda got in the end of all this, I think is wrong. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty shitty. I think if you get banned, he should get banned. That sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, okay. So here's the thing. And I've said this multiple times. I don't even have a problem with Loda. I'd never have a problem. I know
it's not about that. It's about how
who gets upset and comes and squares up to me. I'm a big boy. I look after myself. I'm all right. I'm rough around the edges. I'm not bothered. I'm from a working class background. Sure. I played rugby. I used to box. I don't give a fuck. You want to get in my face? Let's see how that goes. If I end up on the floor bleeding, then I'm not going to cry about it too much. That's what happens if you don't recuse yourself from the situation. So that's the background I'm from. That's my cultural heritage, dare I say it. Where I'm from, we solve shit like that way. You talk shit, it might involve an altercation. And I'm all right with that, and I'm comfortable with that, and we're moving away from that generationally. I know that's a deeply unpopular thing to say, but anyway, so I don't mind. I have no ill will about Loda, right?
Yeah, we already talked about this. We know you don't.
Yeah, he did what he thought he had to do in order to preserve some sort of fucking modicum of dignity or masculinity or whatever it was he felt was under threat, and he addressed it as he felt accordingly in his mind, and we even talked about it afterwards, and we shook hands, and it's all good. Now, I don't even mind that DreamHack's corporate strategy in the aftermath of the event was to publicly distance themselves and say we won't hire this guy again, although I think that's massively disingenuous, because the only reason they even got to publish that group apology was because I persuaded Loda and did all their talking for them and got him to agree to it. I did that on DreamHack's behalf, even though I don't have to. This is while DreamHack were threatening to throw me out of the event, even though the police had come along and been super dismissive of it and said that as far as they were concerned, they were going to file the report in the bin because it was embarrassing. So that's fine. Then DreamHack even had the nerve to ask if I would be interested in signing some sort of NDA, right, to not talk about it publicly. And I, of course, because I'm not an idiot, I refused. And I exercised my right to tell my side of the story, which, of course, because we're dealing with internet retards and fake outrage culture, of course, by the time I got round to telling my side of the story didn't matter, did it? Because I'd already been convicted in the court of public opinion. So I don't even mind that. I don't even mind all of that. I'm willing to say that's just the way it goes, because I'm a reasonable guy. What I can't abide was the Hellspawn version of events that he published, which he waited until I'd put my side of the story out. This is a guy who has been responsible for some deplorable behavior himself in the background when it comes to DreamHack and the treatment of talent. And talent know what I'm talking about. The StarCraft guys who didn't get a green room at DreamHack Winter, didn't even get fed, and I had to take food over to them know what I'm talking about. DreamHack's been treating talent like shit for a long, long time. And Hellspawn's the guy who says, tell me about these problems. And whenever you do, he's disinterested because he comes to it from an admin perspective. So he's created a lot of problems behind the scenes in DreamHack and has done for a while. So, and I've diffused actually some of those problems for DreamHack. Right, because I want a good show, and I've always got along with DreamHack, and I did consider them all of my friends. So for him to come out and tell a version of events that is even worse than Loader, the alleged victims event, is fucking deplorable. They didn't have to do that. I've got DreamHack staff members agreeing with my version of event, the way I told it on Skype, saying, yeah, that happened. And yet he went out and contradicted that. A better question is, why, when you're a DreamHack staff member, are you allowing a player to get in the face of someone when you are stood 2 inches from me? He could have intervened. He could have got involved. He could have at least said something. He didn't. He had no interest in that. And yet he talked about how he acted with civil courage, as they call it in Sweden, by somehow getting between us and resolving it. You didn't prevent the issue. Neither did your security. That is a failing on your part. And yes, it's a failing on my part to control myself, but I felt threatened and I acted accordingly to remove the threat and make sure I came out in a favorable position. That is acting on my instinct of self-preservation. I don't think necessarily I should be condemned for that. But I thought that public statement was an absolute fucking bitch move of the highest order, so especially the way it was framed.
Is that your pick, though? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
No, it may as well be now because we're you know, I don't want to drag it out and drag the segment out and drag the show out. But the reality is that that was a fucking betrayal. You know, I've done a lot for DreamHack. I've sweated for DreamHack. I thought I helped improve their broadcast. I've always represented their interests. I've kept you know, from speaking publicly about their numerous failings. When we've done events together, and it has been a horrific experience, right? I've never thrown them under the bus ever, and in fact, I've actively worked to diffuse conflict when other talent have been disgruntled with the way they've been treated. And yet here I was, okay, yeah, I fucked up, right? No one's even denying that. But I wasn't the only one who fucked up, and yet I got held up as the sacrificial lamb. And they're not content with that. Rather than let me walk out saving any face whatsoever, even though they've already publicly said they won't hire me, even though they've already told me that they're not going to hire me, even though that working relationship is fucking ruined, they then have to go the extra mile and have a staff member come out and say that shit, right, and tell that fucking bullshit. And on top of that, they then try and make out like, it was a rogue employee rather than some sort of carefully construed way of trying to discredit what I was trying to say and cutting me out of the knees from saving face. In fact, I mean, I could say a bunch of stuff right now, but let's just go so far as to say that there are a few companies that will actively try and stop people working with other companies. So I've had multiple offers to host. I've already signed up for a few gigs in 2016. It's not going to affect my hosting career, by the way. Sorry to disappoint all the arseholes who think, oh, well, he's ruined his career now. In fact, some companies who I haven't worked with in the past year have already sounded me out about working with them next year. So my stock's fine. I'm going to get those gigs. What's interesting is DreamHack were going around behind the scenes and basically saying, you know, maybe Richard Lewis, you shouldn't work with him. He's you know, and that's fucking deplorable. So yeah, that's got to be the dick move for me. And I'd love to offer something else up.
It's an obvious one. It's definitely an obvious one.
That's pretty good.
All right, Cans. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, did we cut you off? What now?
Oh, what about your choice?
I think the Hearth Arena one was probably the closest thing I have. I don't have anything else, man. I really don't.
Word said
no. Actually, I said the DreamHack thing. But all right, let me. But thanks for your question, man. God, that was funny. All right, Moose. All right, next up, Moose. What's up, man? Moose? Hello?
I forgot I was on push to talk.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, you got a
Can
question
you
for
hear me
us?
now?
What's up?
Oh god, that's embarrassing. Well, I had a question. First, a trigger warning for Richard because it's about League of Legends. Well, I had a question about the infrastructure in the League of Legends industry. Like, if you're not in the LCS, you're basically no one unless you're maybe in the Challenger series. But below that, it's basically there's nothing. Like, there are a few semi-large tournaments, but outside of that, there is literally nothing for an organization to do. Like, my question then is, like, how would you fix this? How should Riot fix it? Should third-party organizers like ESL try to fix it? Like, what's the solution? Like, basically, right now, the way it looks is just going to shit.
Okay.
Am I supposed to answer
Yeah,
this?
exactly. Steven?
It's basically more a question for all three of you. Like, how would you fix the League of Legends industry? Would you do it like StarCraft did with the WCS? Would you do it like CS:GO did with the Open Circuit? Like, how would you fix this?
Well, you can't be fixed. The reason it can't be fixed is because everybody believes the model works and they like it the way it is right now, because it's a license to print money. And it is a license to print money because people support the unethical way that Riot have operated since day one. So the League of Legends industry isn't an industry. It is not like the same as Valve make a game goes out into the public domain. People run tournaments for that game, create teams for that game, create organizations around that game. We create a sustainable ecosystem. Valve sit back and watch and go, wow, that was cool. Let's make another game. Right? It isn't like that. Riot want the entire scene, okay, what we traditionally think of as an esports scene, to basically act as a PR and marketing division of their game that they control across the board with one message, one way of doing things, and that's all they're really interested in. So to fix that would be to remove Riot from the equation, which simply cannot happen.
Yeah.
And you'll never change Riot's ethos. You'll never change the way they want to control their game. It's just never going to happen. Now, the situation we're in at the moment is everybody is willing to acquiesce and tolerate all of the acquiesce to and tolerate all of the shit that Riot do, because you're better off having a League of Legends team and being an LCS than not. So, and now we're starting to get billionaires, venture capitalists, and ex-sport stars all buying teams, all predicated on wanting to be involved in the biggest thing. And it's not CS:GO at the moment; it's still League of Legends. So it feeds into itself. It becomes successful, and everybody wants to fucking bow down to Riot and kowtow to them because they all want a piece of that pie. The only reason anyone produces any League of Legends content is because it gets so much traffic, because of the subreddit, because of the community, because of the large amount of numbers. Nobody does it because they enjoy it. Nobody really does it. It's depressing. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a shit community to cater for. They're retards. They don't... No, listen, they don't understand basic things. They don't understand how journalism works because they've been fed like constant fucking PR bullshit. The game's not even that great. It's really fucking stale. Everything's fucking manufactured, scripted. Their broadcast is highly polished, looks great. Still one of the best broadcasting experiences in viewing terms and production-wise. But in terms of its soul and its spontaneity, it has none of that. Players can't go up message. They can't do honest interviews. They can't express opinions without fear of being fined. Any problem from organizations not paying players to players having like suicidal ideations and emotional breakdowns is all covered up to the detriment of the players continuously. And no one says anything about this because they all want to get fucking paid. So how do you fix that? You can't fix it because to remove the cause of all of those problems is to remove the people who gave birth to it and maintain it and put all the money into it.
I mean, you're talking more structure, or are you talking about, I mean, I don't disagree with some of what Richard's saying there. Like, if the problem is Riot, then that's never going away. But are you talking more structure, Moose, than like...
Wait, I'm talking about like basically an open circuit that's...
Yeah.
Like a collaboration of ESL, Faceit, DreamHack.
Yeah. So
just like this.
Yeah. So to answer your question, is it going to be better than what they currently have? I don't know. I don't know if that works. Actually, I don't know if it works better for League of
It doesn't have
Legends.
to be a replacement. Like it doesn't have to be a replacement. It can be below what's right there right now. Like you
Oh,
can
you mean
have,
just
like,
a
an
separate
open
thing?
tournament structure.
You mean a totally
Yeah,
separate
it's
circuit? Oh, okay. Yeah.
more like it could be totally separate, but it could also be like a feeder league. Like if you have like the winner of each major can be in the Challenger Series or gets an automatic spot in the Challenger Series. Like you could do something like that as long as Riot supports the amateur and the semi-pro scene. Like because right now there is nothing like literally nothing. I tried to start an organization, but like either you're in the ranked fives at the top. Like there is no other way for an organization to get in. It's extremely top heavy, and that's what, in my opinion, is killing esports. But what Richard said about viewers, the players, like the community being retarded, is also kind of true. Like there are tournaments, small tournaments being set up, but no one watches it. Like if you really want to fucking support esports, watch small tournaments, watch small
but that's
content
just
creators.
not going to
play
happen.
this
That's just not
the
going to happen.
problem
No.
you've got with that though is even if people started watching small tournaments, that would grow the tournaments, and at the point when the tournaments got big, Riot would come in and stick their fingers in and be like, "Well,
not
this
to
is
mention,
big."
not to mention, like you can say all you want about our game, and believe me, I've been all about grassroots forever now. Like whatever game, StarCraft 2, whatever it is, right? Trying to build it that way, and even the college rank, I've been a huge advocate of just the whole college thing. But you can say what you want, like people should be watching, but they won't. They only want to watch the top league. They only want to watch the best players. Like that's it.
Let me tell you something that's fucking hilarious, by the way. So it's not just Riot. Obviously, people are like, Richard, you fucking hate Riot. Yes, I think they're one of the most unethical companies I've ever witnessed in the esports space in 10 fucking years of writing about this, and that's saying something. All right, but okay, they couldn't be as successful if you didn't have a fucking cartel of team owners who were just like, hey, I'm just going to take the money, just going to get in bed with Riot, just going to let them do this unethical shit. And hey, as long as I'm all right and I'm getting mine, my org's growing, fuck the ecosystem and fuck everything else. And what's super interesting is I told you about this team owners meeting that I wrote about. And again, I got fucked over on this because, you know, I did the right thing by reporting how Riot Games were basically trying to stiff the team owners by offering them 35% of merchandising sales, specifically for the team jerseys that Riot were going to sell on their behalf. And it wasn't necessarily opt-in to begin with, but it became opt-in, and I leaked that because it had been leaked to me, and people wanted me to put that in the public domain because they felt they were getting a shitty deal, and I did that, and then team owners fucking came out. And because Riot went mental and going, who's leaking shit to Richard Lewis? You're all NDA'd, we'll sue you. Blah, 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 right? And did their usual bullshit. Then everybody rushed and climbed over themselves to like try and burn me and go, Richard Lewis doesn't know what he's talking about. Richard Lewis doesn't know what he's talking about. Richard Lewis is making it up. Richard Lewis is fucking writing outdated information. No, here's what happens with a typical Richard Lewis story about Riot. Richard Lewis exposes something that Riot are doing, right? They're definitely doing that. Then they realize, holy fucking shit, this looks bad. Let's just scramble. Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 here of changing the problem and discrediting the only fucking journalist that writes anything fucking bad about us in the fucking space. But here's what's really interesting. So you would think, hey, we're all about growing the pie, right? We're esports. Yeah, woo. Let's all pat ourselves on the back. We're all one big happy family. One of the things that these fucking team owners were seriously lobbying for is they want to remove auto relegation from LCS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they want it to be this little closed little fucking treehouse where everyone gets to fucking print money, right? And that tells you all you need to know about the team owners. The problem is systemic. It starts with Riot. Riot have basically bribed, cajoled, fucking incentivized everybody buying into the game. As soon as the money starts flowing, everyone gets greedy and they want to fuck over everyone else and be like, hey, let's just close it off, man. So it's just us. It's great. We're making all that fucking Skrilla. That's all they care about. That's all they fucking care about. So they're part of the problem as well, by the way. This is what I'm saying. You can't fix League of Legends. It isn't a true esport in the traditional sense. It isn't a true esport in the traditional sense. It is a fucking marketing exercise in a way that no other esport has ever been. And everyone just wants to make money off it for as long as it's popular. They don't want to make it an organic experience. It's not natural. It's all artificially sustained. And and also gotta laugh because all the team owners that have exploited their position, all the team owners that are now trying to shut out and stop other new orgs getting in and are leveraging their position, they're complaining about billionaires and venture capitalists coming in and owning teams. They're like going, oh, wow, this isn't fair. This is going to damage the ecosystem. When they had more spending power than anyone else, they weren't complaining, right? They were just exploiting it. TSM, for example, good, they just muscled everybody.
Yeah.
CLG knew they could go around poaching people and get away with it. Right? They weren't complaining then when their special status afforded them special privileges. Now that the big boys are coming to play, they're starting to get a bit nervous about it all. The whole thing is a fucking joke from the top down. It's the most corrupt esport I've ever been involved in, and it's hilarious because the community want it. The community bend over, spread their cheeks, and say, give me that big red fist, Riot, every goddamn time. They're idiots.
Well, they have no choice. They have no choice.
They deserve to get ripped up. No, you do have a choice. When people are trying to tell the truth about what's going on, you don't have to attack them. You don't have to consistently go after jobs of journalists that break stories. You do not have to do that to people like Jacob Wolf and Josh Raven and all these guys. You do not have to do that. You certainly don't have to tolerate having a subreddit, which is meant to be an independent space, being effectively controlled and influenced by Riot Games, but people pretend it isn't happening no matter how much fucking evidence is put on the table because they want to believe the delicious lie where they just get to watch games and just fucking relax and enjoy themselves. The whole thing is bullshit and artifice and corruption from the top down. And if you think it isn't, you know nothing. It's as simple as that.
All right, fair enough, Moose. Hopefully we answer the question in some way. All right, thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks. Good night.
All right, I got to take a quick break. We got some more questions, but I got to take a quick break. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go pee.
More questions? Wow, this has been a fucking epic, dude.
Just a couple more. Just like a couple more. All right.
Are you going to have to crack out more fucking biker crank to get to the end of the show?
Oh, man. All right, we'll be right back.
That's what that delivery was.
What? Oh, really? All right.
No.
God, you idiot.